manufacturer. Our business matters to Signature Bank, and that comes through in every visit and every phone call with their team, right up to the bank's co-founders, Kevin, Mick, and Brian. Spervery's is proud to bank with Signature Bank.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. Learn more about turning your business vision into reality. Visit signature-bank.com. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
The U.S. economy has been getting stronger, and home values have been increasing. This good economic news presents a unique financial opportunity for you. Hi, I'm Jay Farner, president of Quicken Loans. Many of our clients have been taking cash out of their homes, a strategy that might work for you. The smart move is to refinance your mortgage right now with Quicken Loans. The rate today on a 30-year fixed-rate mortgage is 4.375%, APR 4.51%. Call Quicken Loans today at 800-QUICKEN to see how much we can lower your mortgage payment. For 7 years in a row now, J.D. Power has ranked Quicken Loans highest in the nation in customer satisfaction for primary mortgage origination. And for the 3rd year in a row, they've also ranked us highest in the nation for mortgage servicing. Call 800-QUICKEN or go to QuickenLoans.com. That's 800-QUICKEN.
Visit jdpower.com for award information. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal Housing Lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLS ConsumerAccess.org, number 3030.
5:09. Let's get a check of the roads at our AM 560 Traffic Center with Jim Talamonte.
Good morning, Mike. On the Tri-State Tollway, north end on the northbound, westbound side of 94, speed 173. Got a truck with a brake fire. 2 right lanes are blocked there. The northbound Tri-State, that's just before Rosecrans. Des Plaines Algonquin Road has reopened after there was a water main break between Wolf Road and Mount Prospect Road. Overnight construction has cleared on the inbound Eisenhower at the Burns Circles. Traffic flows through there fine now. Same goes for northbound Lakeshore Drive at the Stevenson. There were a couple of ramp closures on the outbound Rhine, but that's all wrapped up. Things look pretty good at the airports despite the cold. Not too many delays or issues. Traffic service of LifeLock. Grabbing coffee or breakfast, if you swipe your card, you leave a trail of digital information thieves can use to steal your identity. Ever hear of LifeLock? They're a U.S.-based team of specialists help resolve identity theft problems. Go to LifeLock.com now. Use promo code RISK to save 10%. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. From the AirComfort.com Weather Center, here's our meteorologist, Kevin Snyder.
A cold wave today into Sunday. It will be breezy today with intervals of clouds and sunshine. High 18, rather cloudy and very cold for tonight with a low of just 8. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
12 at O'Hare, 14 along the lakefront. Next news coming up at 5:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy starts now on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by The Lou Bridges Show, a show about the truth of the foreclosure crisis. Saturday mornings at 8 on AM 560, The Answer.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Well, how about this? Amy Jacobson's former intern has gone full Hollywood.
Isn't it great?
And
I love when my friends do well. I really do.
Yeah.
It's encouraging. Yeah, she's taking a big chance. Announcing yesterday she's moving
She's taking
from
a big paycheck.
Well, no, but I think she's taking a pay cut. There's competing stories, and your friend Brian Seltzer over there, the bald dude at CNN, the media analyst. I know you can't stand him, but at first they were reporting that Fox was offering her $20 million to stay. Actually, $25 million to stay. But she, during the RNC and other conventions, she'd been showing people a picture of her 3 kids. Her kids are about, she has a 4-year-old. No. 7-year-old and 8-year-old. And she wanted to spend more time with her children.
Yeah.
And she works nights. And when you work nights, you can't spend time with your children.
Yeah.
So with this new shift, this is what she's doing. She's going to have a talk show Monday through Friday, an hour-long talk show. So she could record 2 shows in one day, so she'll get an extra day off. And then she's going to have a Sunday morning show as well after Meet the Press.
Sunday news magazine show.
Yeah, a news magazine, kind of similar to CBS this Sunday morning. Do you know that show?
Yeah, but NBC was not specific about the time slots for these shows.
Right,
They said
exactly.
daytime program. They said Sunday news magazine show, in addition to her continuing to do, the big events.
But it's going to be a completely different world for her, and I don't know. I hope she succeeds. But
Well, I think
she's taking a chance.
maybe she needs some continued mentorship from her former
I'm not
from her
into
former boss.
Well, then you look at Katie Couric, her talk show, Meredith Vieira. I mean, these
Anderson
women.
Cooper.
Yeah, that's right. And other people. I mean,
all three of those women failed in the daytime talk.
One time she
format.
said she wants to be a Charlie Rose, Oprah Winfrey, and a little bit of herself. That's what she wanted her dream job was to have an hour-long show on primetime.
Yeah.
And that's what she wanted, the combination of those three.
Yeah.
Why are you shaking it? Mike Scott's shaking his head, too.
Okay, so here's the question.
Are you guys maybe a little jealous at the salary?
No. I think you're suggesting that we would be envious.
Oh, okay. Envious.
Because there's nothing wrong with jealously guarding something.
Okay.
But am I envious of Megyn Kelly? Her cheekbones, yes. Not her salary, not her professional market position. And I want to pick up exactly what you said. She was showing pictures of her three kids because
saying this is what it's all about.
she has kids, don't you know? And yeah, that's what this move is all about. Is it 312-642-5600 turnkey.pro answer line, 64636DA turnkey.pro text line? Because I picked up on that when she signed off on the Kelly file last night, and here's what she said.
After more than a dozen years at Fox News, I have decided to pursue a new challenge. This was a tough decision for me because I love this show, our staff, my crew, my colleagues here at Fox, and you, all of you, those who write me the lovely handwritten notes asking about my kids, and even those who very rarely complain on Twitter about our coverage after a show or a presidential debate. Now, I actually know most of you, so perhaps it's not true love, but it's the kind of feeling that makes one feel connected to another human being. And that, after all, is why I believe we're here, human connection.
Boy, so deep.
The truth is, I need more of that in my life, in particular when it comes to my children, who are 7, 5, and 3. So I'll be leaving Fox News at the week's end and starting a new adventure, joining the journalists at NBC News, who I deeply admire.
Brian Williams.
I'll be anchoring a daytime show there, along with a Sunday night news magazine, and you'll see me there on the big nights, too, for politics and such. I am very grateful to NBC for this opportunity, and I am deeply thankful to Fox News for the wonderful 12 years I have had here.
Except for the Roger Ailes groping.
And he did grope her, and I heard she got some of she got a piece of the pie.
The three kids.
Yeah, 7, 5, and 3.
So let me understand something. She's going from her 5-night-a-week show on Fox to do a 5-day-a-week show on NBC, plus a Sunday news magazine show, plus the big nights like she was doing at Fox.
Yeah, election nights and things like that, inaugurations.
And this move is about spending more time with her children.
Yes, because you have to think of the time. I worked nights for 13 years, never saw my kids. Because you get up in the morning, you'll spend maybe a half hour with them, you send them off to school, and then you're home alone, and then you go to work, you come home and they're sleeping. I'm like, you don't see your kids. I mean, God bless Allison Rosati for years, 20 plus years she's been working nights at NBC, never would see her kids. So she'd, when she'd come home after her night shift, would, sleep in when the kids were little, sleep in their beds just to spend time with them. That sounded really creepy. Nothing nefarious about it. She's a wonderful person, but you don't see your kids when you work night shift, and you don't see your husband either, and that affects a lot of marriages.
Mm-hmm. And so, I don't know. I mean, I don't pretend to know.
Including mine. I mean, I
don't pretend to know what's in Megyn Kelly's heart. I'm actually not that interested. I'm not that fascinated by her. But I know that we have to do this because so many people are obsessed with these. She's more than a news reader, but not a lot more.
But she's smart. She's a law degree. She worked for a law firm here in Chicago for 8 years.
No, I know she's a lawyer because every legal question she asks, she predicates with, as a lawyer.
Well, that's okay. She's an accomplished woman.
No,
she's
actually,
not some bimbo. I don't think she's a bimbo.
Who said
you
bimbo?
Didn't say bimbo.
Right. What I said is you're professional. As a lawyer, this. As a man, that. As a or any other credential. It's just tiresome. It's tiresome. As somebody with a law degree, I'd like to ask the following legal question. It's absurd.
I want you, and next time we have a guest on, say that every time.
It's like demanding or projecting insecurity so you can demand legitimacy about some minor accomplishment like being a lawyer. And by the way, that is a minor accomplishment. Okay. Speaking as someone who has a law degree, that's a minor accomplishment.
But I heard
as someone with a college degree, as someone who went to Northwestern, as someone who graduated from Catholic, I mean, it's just
Dan,
so tiresome.
As somebody who went to Iowa, I had a source inside Fox I talked to last night who said the real reason that they think she's leaving is because Bill O'Reilly hates her now. He used to like her. And Sean Hannity doesn't like her anymore either. And it's not a healthy work environment.
Can I suggest another?
So she wanted to get out.
Yeah, right. Oh, so it's not about the kids. It was just about the kids. Now it's about an unhealthy work environment.
Well,
can I just suggest something that I think is fairly obvious? By the way, if the time with her children she wanted to guard so jealously, then perhaps, I mean, if we're just talking about this, and I would say the same thing if this was a man making the same argument. And we hear men leave politics or take this position, that position. It's about spending more time with their kids.
Do your kids want to spend more time with you?
Well, exactly. That's the question to be asked. It's always, I want to spend more time with my family. And as you know, I ask the question, have you asked your family? Do they want you to spend more time with them? Maybe they don't. Shouldn't they have a say?
Dad, can you please go back to work?
But
Mom?
But I mean, this idea, and these media personalities, they're very much like politicians when to spend more time with their kids. Okay, now that we've gotten that piety out of the way, what's the real reason? So let me just suggest something. Those Vanity Fair spreads, and I do mean spreads.
And the GQ.
And all of the other things that she did, I mean, that took time away from those three kids that she...
promoting her brand.
The book, she didn't have to write. The National Book Tour, she didn't have to do. And I don't begrudge her doing it. I don't begrudge her being as successful, taking advantage of every opportunity that presented her. I don't begrudge her. I just am insulted when everything she does is about spending more time with her three kids, but everything she does is spending less time with her three. I mean...
Well, then let me ask you this. She's willing to take a $10 million pay cut because apparently, according to CNN, Fox offered her $25 million and NBC offered her $15 million. $10 million is a big difference.
Let me tell you something. This don't believe me, believe... an industry expert in this piece in Variety, Ira Berger, who supervises ad buying on broadcast and cable for the Richards Group, which is a Dallas ad agency. This will propel her to superstar status. This move will broaden her reach beyond the Fox bubble. That's what this is about, isn't it?
It's already been branded behind.
Oh,
I think she's just going to get lost in the shuffle, though.
It's but the opportunity, the stage is much bigger. It's one thing to bubble up to the surface during a presidential campaign and the whole debate and the contretemps with Trump and all that, but that dissipates quickly, and then she goes back to her little perch, relatively speaking, of 1 million viewers a night on the 1.5 million viewers a night, whatever it is, on Kelly File on Fox News Cable. This is the NBC Universal platform that is multidimensional. Not that Fox isn't, but NBC has more assets. And frankly, still because of, the demographics of TV watchers, more general reach. That's just a fact. So isn't that what this is really about? Taking the next rung up, as I said at the outset, going full Hollywood? Doesn't that seem more plausible?
Yeah, I'm worried because she's been doing a political show for years in politics. And daytime TV, the women and the men that are watching daytime TV don't really care so much about politics. They want cooking recipes. They want to know what the latest fashion trends are. They don't care about who's in charge of our country or what's going on.
That's why I watch Wendy Williams. Ed in Oak Brook, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
You know what? I really don't care why she's leaving. I was hoping it was my letters that I was writing in, but I'm just so glad she is leaving because she had this superior attitude when she would look into that camera. And I don't even know if she was looking in the camera. I think she was looking into a mirror. But I'm just so glad she's going. This is the best news this morning. Have a nice day.
Thanks for the call, Ed.
I don't fault her for that. She's assertive. She's strikingly gorgeous. And she's smart. And I help mentor her.
She would be nothing without Amy.
It's news, opinion, insight. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
You, in a sense, you birthed Megyn Kelly. In a sense, she is your third child.
Yeah, and Savannah Guthrie before that. I'm on a roll here, man. But I'll never forget when she held my umbrella once for a live shot. She came on. She called into the show. I don't know if you were here. It was a few years ago, and she mentioned that. She's like, I remember I held your umbrella for you.
And you've never washed that umbrella again.
No, I have it. It's called the Kelly umbrella. Forecast for today. Wow, it is cold outside. We're going up to a high of 18 degrees. It's 16 degrees right now out here, but if you factor in the wind chill, it's about 0 degrees out there. And tomorrow, mostly cloudy and bitterly cold again, a high only of 15. Let's get those travel times. Let's give birth to another fine career. Here's Jim Talabante.
It's a long way for me to get to there, Amy. Good morning. Good morning, Dan. Tri-State Tollway at the north end. Our westbound 94 at 173 Rosecrans. Got a truck with a brake fire. 2 right lanes are blocked. Really not seeing any delays. Traffic volume still pretty light. Inbound Kennedy, the express lanes. Got a stall at Armitage, blocking the right lane. Inbound Bishop Ford, a little sluggish now. Cottage Grove into the Rhine. And in Des Plaines, Algonquin has reopened in Wolf and Mount Prospect Road. There was a water main break there earlier. Jim Talamonte in the AM 560 Traffic Center.
The website, upstream-ideas.com, premium content that complements what we do here every morning on Chicago's Morning Answer. Long-form interviews with local, state, national policymakers and influencers. This week featuring Steve Cortez. You've heard on this show, you've seen on the cable news networks for the last several months. Trump surrogate, member of Trump's Hispanic Advisory Council. We do an Against the Current long-form interview with Mr. Cortez. 60 seconds of sanity commentaries, follow the logic, man on the street interviews. It's all at upstream-ideas.com.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
Well, I'm pretty stupid. I should have ordered it 15 years ago. It's the most effective product that I've ever bought in my life.
He had eczema on his hand, and it cracked for years. Mm-hmm. He did anything from doctor, every cream, everything. And 3 months on the veggies and fruit, it was gone.
Dr. Howard has put together an all-new health challenge that will absolutely allow you to find out for yourself what Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies will do for you. The new challenge will allow you to receive 2 months of free product. Yes, 2 months of free Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies. Call now for details. And who knows, you may be hearing your own success story on the radio. Call 1-800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code Chicago.
I would love to have it forever. They're just awesome.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, I guess we could still say Happy New Year, Happy 2017, in case you were still off work yesterday.
CPS doesn't go back to school until next week.
Really?
Yeah, but the suburban schools are back, and the Catholic schools, you people, are back this week.
Yeah, good. And who's going to replace Megyn Kelly? We were just talking about Megyn Kelly leaving Fox for NBC, and of course now there's a scramble to see who will backfill her slot at the Fox News channel.
Because the future of the network relies on it. I mean, that show is bookended by Sean Hannity and Bill O'Reilly. So there's a list. The very big decision. Dana Perino, Ann Coulter. Any reaction? No?
No.
Laura Ingraham? This is my favorite.
I'm going to defer to Mike Scott so I don't get in too much trouble.
There you go. That's fine. I'm willing to take that role.
And frankly, I don't watch Fox. The only show on Fox that I watch.
You can't work here, son.
I'll be honest. The only show on Fox that I can watch, that I can tolerate for more than 30 minutes, is Brett Baer's Special Report.
I watch that too. And Chris Wallace on Sunday mornings.
Yeah, Wallace. Yeah, I'll watch Wallace
He's
too.
Good. Katrina Pearson.
Come on.
It's a possibility. Don Lemon. I'm not making that up. Don Lemon. Eric Bowling.
Don Lemon and Juan Williams. How about that? Throw those two.
Don Juan.
Sheds together.
Don Juan.
Tommy Lauren.
Tommy Lauren, yeah.
Tommy Lauren.
Brianna Keeler.
I don't know who that is.
She's on CNN. Maria Bartiromo.
She's good, but I don't know. Yeah.
Very specific, though.
Yeah,
kind of business related.
Very. Yeah. That's narrow, more narrow, maybe.
Kim Guilfoyle,
You know who I'd like to
is
see?
really, really pushing for it.
I think being formerly married to Gavin Newsom disqualifies her. Here's. I'm only half kidding about that, too.
Wait, who is she married to?
She was married to former San Francisco mayor and California Lieutenant Governor Gavin Newsom, who is pond scum.
Really?
And is
why did their marriage break up?
Because he was having an affair with his chief of staff's wife.
Yeah. Yeah, bad news. There's talk that they're going to move Bowling and Guilfoyle together. Now, they're together right now, right, on something in the afternoon?
5.
5?
5 on 5.
They're talking about moving them together.
I did see that. That was that was Jeff Daniels and Jim Carrey that played them in the movie version.
Stop
right?
it. No, and they did they looked good
not.
together. They look good together. They did the New Year's Eve celebration.
Let me tell you, if you want individuals who are smart and conversant across a range of topics, and I've said this when we had them on the show, that you should bring over either Charles Payne or Neil Cavuto from Fox Business.
Payne's a good idea.
Charles Payne is really sharp.
That's smart.
And he's not just he's not just in that business lane. He has a much broader knowledge, and he demonstrates it when they have political conversations, electoral conversations, culture conversations on Fox Business. It's obviously not central to the show he has on Fox Business, but he has the bandwidth for that kind of thing. I think that's the play.
Billy Bush is on this list. He's only received 1.32% of the vote. And Shannon Breen, I think she'd be great. She's the Supreme Court correspondent.
I like her. Yeah.
I like her, too.
She's blonde, and she's got blue eyes. What's not to like?
Exactly.
So did Megyn Kelly. Shannon is a good reporter. She has spent a lot of time on those steps at the Supreme Court. She understands that issue very well, and she's also filled for Brett. Has she not?
Yeah. She's
several
filled
times?
in on every Fox. She's filled in on Megyn Kelly. And then Martha, what she does.
Martha McCallum.
Martha McCallum, she's also on the list.
Those are both good reporters. But here's the thing. I want somebody, and if I'm going to watch somebody, this is just me. This is why I'm pushing for Charles Payne. I don't want somebody who just knows some of the words and can moderate a discussion. I want somebody who's read the books. This is my problem with like the Republican Party. We got a lot of people that can mouth some of the words, can pantomime conservatism, but they really haven't read the book, so they don't have the fundamental understanding that, and you can tell the difference.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people on Fox News, including hosts and including some names that have been mentioned, that are just mouthing the words, that have a surface level understanding of what they're talking about. And so I hope they don't just focus on the Roger Ailes criteria and they go a little bit deeper in terms of value add on content. But,
There's also Gretchen Carlson on this list. Bring back her. It wouldn't be.
No. How about?
But Gretchen and Megyn are both independents. They never claimed that they were Republicans.
How about
ever.
all of them together?
Okay.
Every name you've mentioned together. Or we could just go with Charles Payne.
Listen to podcasts of Dan and Amy from the AM 560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
I'm Dan Proft.
And I'm Amy Jacobson.
And we want to say thanks to each and every one of you who helped us to reach our goal of providing food for a year and water for life for 2,000 kids and counting in Haiti and Guatemala.
Your generosity means that these children will have a shot at living a happy and healthy life despite the enormous challenges they face.
And just because the Christmas season is over and we're starting a new year, that doesn't mean the need has gone away. You can still make a difference in the life of a child by making a $50 donation to Food for the Poor. Food for the Poor is one of America's largest and most trusted charities. Since 1982, they've been helping the poorest of the poor by directing resources directly to those in the greatest need.
Just call 855-880-3663. That's 855-880-FOOD, or go to 560theanswer.com, keyword food.
And thanks to the many business benefactors who supported this campaign, when you hear their ads on the radio station this year, we'd ask that you support their businesses as a way of thanking them for their generosity.
AM 560, The Answer.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer. My slate's clean, so I don't know what we're doing.
Yeah, okay.
What are we doing, Dan?
GOP Congress is in session, and Obamacare repeal has been advanced post-haste at 5:38.
But first, let's go into the newsroom to a man who always knows what he's doing. Here's Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, 14 and clear, and you mentioned it several times in the first half hour of the show. Wind chills are below zero, -6 right now, with winds out of the west at 17. reports the intelligence community is pushing back on President-elect Donald Trump's tweet that his meeting with intelligence officials over suspected hacking by Russia is being delayed until Friday. Strategy meetings will bring President Obama and Vice President-elect Mike Pence to Capitol Hill today. The outgoing president meeting privately with Democrats, trying to find a way to preserve some of Obamacare. Law school professors across the nation want the Senate to reject Alabama Senator Jeff Sessions as President-elect Trump's pick to be Attorney General. Meantime, the national president of the NAACP and 5 others were arrested after staging a sit-in at the Alabama office of Sessions. Convicted mass murderer Charles Manson reported in a California hospital for an undisclosed reason. He's 82. Now, you may recall Manson is serving 9 life sentences for conspiracy to murder 7, including actress Sharon Tate. Searchers in Arizona have found the bodies of 4 members of a family in the wreckage of a small plane crashing on a flight from Scottsdale to Telluride. Meantime, Cleveland officials say the search for a plane carrying 6 that disappeared over Lake Erie last week will continue today. A Chicago police officer who was off duty when he fatally shot a man Monday has been relieved of his police powers. That in a statement from Chicago police yesterday. The family of a teen shot and killed by a DuPage County Sheriff's deputy in Villa Park believes that shooting was unjustified. And we're hearing reports of a 10-year-old Chicago girl killed in a New Year's Day skiing accident in northern Michigan. Officials at Crystal Mountain, a ski resort in Benzie County, released a statement saying the accident was around 2 p.m. actually Sunday, when a group ski lesson on an intermediate trail. When the accident occurred, the girl was wearing a helmet, transported to a Grand Rapids Trauma Center where she died of her injuries on Monday. College hoops, Miami over Northern Illinois, 69-67. Look who's on the list for the Pro Football Hall of Fame in 2017. LaDainian Tomlinson, Jason Taylor, Morton Anderson, Isaac Bruce, Don Coryell, and Alan Faneca. The news is a service of Taco Bell, having one of those mornings where it feels like you've already had a morning before your morning even starts. You need a breakfast crunch wrap from Taco Bell. Eggs, bacon, melty cheddar cheese, and a full hash brown all wrapped up. If you have a morning before your morning, let Taco Bell make you breakfast. 5:35 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Dennis Prager is disappointed in today's university.
I don't think that 1 out of 1,000 college graduates knows about the Soviet invasion of Afghanistan. I do believe that they know about carbon emissions, however. That is what they're taught. And, of course, they're taught about white privilege. Every college kid is taught about white privilege. It's a sick place, the university.
The Dennis Prager Show, weekdays at 11, right before Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Papa Nicholas Coffee. Papa Nicholas Coffee, roasted fresh daily in Batavia, Illinois. Last winter was pretty much a piece of cake, but this winter, we're told, is gonna be a doozy.
Well, the Farmer's Almanac forewarns that bitterly cold, if not downright frigid, numbing cold weather will be predominating over these parts this winter.
Not looking good, but you can be ready. Smart businesses rely on Air Comfort to keep them and their customers warm this expected frigid winter. Air Comfort is one of the largest commercial and industrial service groups in the Chicago area, with dedicated factory-trained technicians that take a scientific approach to analyzing your system. They have comprehensive year-round preventative maintenance programs and emergency service, plus design, build, and install equipment for new construction and retrofits of existing mechanical systems. Now is a great time to call Air Comfort and schedule an analysis of your company's mechanical system by their certified award-winning engineering team. Call 708-345-1900 or visit aircomfort.com. Air Comfort, providing the right climate for business since 1935.
5:37. Let's get an update on the roads. Our AM 560 Traffic Center with Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. On the Tri-State northbound near 173, Rosecrans got a truck with a brake fire. The right lane is blocked. Edens is fine inbound Kennedy. The express lane's in Armitage. It's a stall blocking the right lane. Eisenhower still okay. Inbound Stevenson, heavy State Street into Lakeshore Drive. The Ryan, now with 2 minutes worth of delays. Canal Port into downtown. Bishop Ford, 3-minute delay, Cottage Grove to the merge. Traffic, service of Al Pimati Ford in Melrose Park. Stop. Before you buy your new car, you must visit Al Pimati Ford now. Truckloads of new cars and trucks have just arrived, and everything is priced to sell quickly. Al Pimati Ford is at 25th and North Avenue in Melrose Park. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center, providing the right climate for business since 1935. Windy today, clouds and sunshine, high near 18. It is 11 at O'Hare. Wind chill of 9 below. Next news at 6. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Secure Retirement Radio with host Raj Shah. Sunday mornings at 7 on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues now. And make sure to stay tuned to catch me, Mike Gallagher, coming up at 9, only on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. So in the most anticlimactic vote for Speaker, up until Mike Madigan is reelected Speaker of Illinois, Paul Ryan reelected Speaker of the United States House of Representatives yesterday.
I saw.
And that occurred concurrently with Senator Mike Enzi, Republican from Wyoming, advancing a resolution to repeal Obamacare. Now, the question is, what is the judicious play for Republicans with respect to keeping the campaign promise and, more importantly, making proper policy in the area of health insurance in this country? Is it repeal and replace or repeal and delay? If they don't have a replacement, should they wait on the repeal? Or should they repeal as a matter of showing an alacrity with respect to their governing agenda, even if they haven't agreed on what the replacement looks like? 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line, 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line. Here's Paul Ryan taking to the dais after being reelected House Speaker. His message to you, the American people.
It's no secret that millions and millions of Americans across this country are deeply dissatisfied with their current situation. They've looked to Washington for leadership, and all they have gotten is condescension. For years, they've suffered quietly amid shuttered factories and shattered lives. But now they have let out a great roar. Now we, their elected representatives, must listen. So I want to say to the American people, we hear you. We will do right by you, and we will deliver.
But it's weird. I mean, President Obama is meeting with top Democratic
men.
Yes, they're meeting today to try and save Obamacare. And Mike Pence,
not going to happen.
Governor Pence, is meeting with others to figure out a way to scrap it. But remember, Donald Trump said he'd save the part where you can stay on your parents' insurance until you're 26 years old, and if you had a pre-existing condition, then you could have health insurance.
Those are popular provisions. I'm not sure about the infantilization of 26-year-olds, but those are both popular provisions, and they have been bandied about as to be included in whatever repeal looks like. That's a good point. Now, here's the play.
Yeah, what's the play?
The Republicans seem to be leaning towards a repeal and delay approach, and are inclined to use the reconciliation process, which is kind of procedural gimmickry, to pass the repeal over the objection of the minority party. This is so Democrats cannot filibuster. It would require just a simple 51-vote majority. By the way, kind of in the what goes around comes around, or for the what goes around comes around file, this is exactly what Obama and Democrats did with respect to Obamacare and its implementation. As David French writes in National Review, the Democrat governing strategy in the age of Obama seemed to contain three elements: use all available power to implement the administration's ideological agenda, hold the presidency for the indefinite future, and enjoy the glorious new American dawn. Step 1, mission accomplished. Step 2, oops, didn't happen. So now the left lives with the world it made, and this legislative achievement, quote unquote, was done through simple majority, straight party line vote, you'll recall, and implemented through reconciliation in important parts, and now can be undone similarly. But the question is that the politically smart thing for Republicans to do? Over at the American Enterprise Institute, they argued that it isn't. They suggest that repealing the ACA, Obamacare, carries too much risk of unnecessary disruption to the existing insurance arrangements upon which many people are now relying to finance their health services. And the repeal and delay would be less secure insurance for many Americans, procrastination by political leaders who will delay taking any proactive steps as long as possible, and ultimately no discernible movement towards a real marketplace for either insurance or medical services. So essentially, they argue, and I'm persuaded by their argument, that, look, first of all, why is this even a necessary discussion? You have had all of this time, and you have advanced all of these ideas about what free market health insurance marketplace would look like in a Republican-controlled political world. You have that Republican-controlled political world. You've had several weeks now, and I know that's a short period of time to move the largesse of D.C., but that's not an excuse. So you have all of these ideas, and we've talked about them before, being able to have providers sell health insurance plans across state lines, connecting consumer to provider the way that some market alternatives are popping up, like the Oklahoma Surgery Center, where there's actually a price menu associated with procedures.
That's great.
And not to mention all of the experience with Obamacare and the externalities thrown off by this centrally planned health insurance marketplace. So why is there a need for a delay on the replace? There shouldn't be. You should be ready to go. To the extent you're not, take the time so that you are ready to go, so that you move repeal and you implement replace, rather than creating more uncertainty in the marketplace. And as the scholars at AEI suggest, perhaps making it more unstable, less certain for people that are existing under this terrible, but nonetheless real health insurance marketplace now. Make sure that the transition is seamless, or as seamless as possible, I suppose, is the point here. Take the elements that you want to take from Obamacare, quote unquote, like the matter with those with pre-existing conditions, most importantly, because that was really the predicate for all of this, the small but important group of Americans who have pre-existing conditions and struggle to find affordable health insurance coverage. So deal with that risk pool as part of a larger free market-oriented reform that, again, is consistent with principles like connecting consumer to provider and competition to reduce the cost of services and improve the quality of, and then do it in one package. I think that makes more sense.
And is it really expensive to keep kids, the kids, I should call kids, they're young adults, on their parents' insurance? Because mostly they're healthy. 26-year-olds don't really have major medical issues.
That's not a huge cost driver.
Right.
No, it's not. It
doesn't
make a good public
message about being a self-sufficient adult in this, because that's, again, the reason why I moved out of the house when I was after college, because I needed health insurance. So I had to get a JOB. People don't realize that. They just stay in their parents' basement. More kids are living young adults are living at home with their parents than any other time in America's history.
Job is not a 4-letter word. You can just say it. You don't have to spell it. Jordan in Forest Park, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hey, good morning, Dan and Amy. One of my favorite topics. I think that the solution to this, and what the Republicans ought to concentrate on, is a two-pronged approach. Hey, if you like your Obamacare, maybe you'll be able to keep that version of that. But let's let the insurance companies come up with their own streamlined products. Price has already talked about this in one of his proposals, where the insurance companies can have maybe catastrophic plans that don't include benefits that people don't want. But I think that if they concentrate on the healthy people have been killed by premiums because of the Affordable Care Act, and nobody talks about that. They're only talking about people on the exchange that are getting subsidies.
Well, not only that, but also precluded from accessing not just the doctor they want, but the healthcare system they want. If you're not in the marketplace, the exchange, and you're in Chicago, try and buy a plan that gives you access to Northwestern and University of Chicago.
That's right. And Price has also talked about he might have some restrictions on pre-existing conditions. You might have to have continuous coverage for 18 months, and then you can do whatever you want to do. Because what's happened on the Affordable Care Act is a lot of people have went through the marketplace and they've signed up outside of the open enrollment period, and the cost drivers have been dramatic. Blue Cross Blue Shield of Illinois has had about a 60% increase in cost for people that signed up outside of the open enrollment period.
Yeah, that's right. Thanks for the call, Jordan. Todd in Valpo.
Good morning, guys.
Morning.
Guys, say my comment was I have Blue Cross Blue Shield of Illinois. I work for myself. I've had my policy for 10 years. It's gone from this year from $680 to $1,100 a month. So we're going to cancel it, get something else. So we're going to have to go on Obamacare, which ain't too happy about. But really have no choice. I'm not paying $1,100 a month for health care. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
That is
Thanks for the call, Tom.
insane.
Well, that's not the outlier. That's the usual story. That's not the unusual story.
It's just amazing.
Dan and Gurnee.
Then you have a deductible.
Yeah, like $6,000. Hey, Dan.
I would like to see them repeal and replace with Medicare tier or Medicaid tiers, because this bind the state Affordable Care Act, each state pool is just too small, and that's what's causing the problem. That's why you see companies like Aetna and Blue Cross closing in Missouri and Minnesota. So if you have Medicaid tiers, you're still getting subsidies. You're keeping the pre-existing conditions. You're covering your kids at 26. But the pools are larger because it's a Medicaid plan.
Thanks for the call, Dan. Candace in DuPage.
It's so evident that they didn't think they'd win because they don't even have a freaking plan, which is so frustrating to even be talking about this morning. But I don't care what they do. One thing I do care, though, is that they take it away from employers, because what I really want with health care, if you really want to drive down prices, then people need to know exactly how much everything is. Not this, I'm taking it out of your check thing.
Mm-hmm.
Let them see what the true cost of health care is. And then what would happen is, they have more competition between doctors, and they definitely have to open up state lines and all that. But I do think they should put the sick people in a pool, and I think most of this is a lot of illegals getting insurance, too. I mean, I don't think the number is even close. They say it's 20 million. No way. It's probably less than 10 million. And then 60 million have been screwed over.
Yeah, that's
so they need to concentrate on those people, the producers.
Thanks, Candace.
The more you listen, the more you'll know. This is Chicago's Morning Answer. On AM 560. The Answer.
Oh, fresh powder. I'll get the skis.
Ugh, I can't.
Winter nasal congestion. Is it A, cold, B, sinus pressure, C, allergies?
I'm not sure.
For all of the above, the answer is D, Allegra D, a maximum strength decongestant, plus a powerful non-drowsy antihistamine for 24 hours of relief. Feel better?
Yep. Feel like racing?
Hey, wait! This winter, the answer is Allegra D. Look for Allegra D at the pharmacy counter. Use as directed.
I have to get to sleep.
Tom had a stressful day, and now he can't shut down at bedtime.
Need sleep.
To fall asleep fast, millions of people turn to Unisom sleep gels. They're non-habit forming and quickly help you sleep soundly so you wake recharged. Tom? Unisom sleep gels. A stressful day deserves a restful night. Use as directed. Active ingredient diphenhydramine hydrochloride.
By the way, the reason I don't even worry about Obamacare,
why,
and go through the hassle of it, I just take look. If something is ailing me, I just rub dirt on it, walk it off. So that's what I suggest you do in the Obamacare world until Republicans come up with a free market remedy.
Yeah.
Rub dirt on it, walk it off.
What did you do to work on your cold? Did you have a hot toddy and a hot bath last night?
I rubbed dirt on it, and I walked it off. And look at me now today.
A little bit better.
Yeah, see?
It's the coffee from Carlos.
Dr. Dan, no more excuses, gentlemen. It's a new year, and you need to stop putting things off, especially when it comes to taking care of your health. Dan Proft here, as you know. I know we all hate going to the doctor, as I just described. That's why Low T Center makes it quick and easy to get your testosterone levels checked. You walk in, take a simple blood test, and with the convenience of their on-site lab, you'll know your results within about 20 minutes. So if you're drinking coffee or energy drinks just to get you through the day, or if you always feel like you need a nap, you may have low T. Low T levels can make you feel tired and grumpy, raise your cholesterol, and even cause weight gain. I personally recommend going to my friends at Low T Center. They accept most health insurance and have flexible hours, including Saturdays. So don't hesitate to find out what your number is this new year. I'm sure glad I did. Call my friends at Low T Center and tell them I sent you. Call 630-409-4305. That's 630-409-4305. Again, the number 630-409-4305, or go to lowtcenter.com.
Change in the market shouldn't be a surprise to anyone. In fact, since World War II, we've seen a correction on average about once every 18 months. That's why Arlington Capital Management developed proprietary tools that help them to see what's beyond your investment horizon. Like an experienced ship captain uses tools to avoid stormy weather, Arlington Capital Management uses tools to guide you through market corrections before it's too late and help us decide when to capitalize on opportunity. Call Arlington Capital Management today at 855-471-5796 to learn how their active management systems can help you. Each day, they actively explore the market, our economy, and all the variables that affect your investments. Stormy markets never cloud their vision. The professionals at Arlington Capital Management use their tools and experience to guide them. Call Arlington Capital Management today at 855-471-5796 for a financial review. The number again is 855-471-5796, or learn more at arlington-capital.com.
Hey, are you thinking about the IRS right now? Man, if the IRS is coming after you, your IRS problem is there day and night. You need help to fight the IRS. I recommend you call my very good friend, Attorney Stephen Leahy of Open Tax Resolutions. Hey, he's got a special offer going on right now. If you're not certain about your position with the IRS, he will pull your personal IRS transcripts and find out exactly where you stand for free. Find out where you stand. If you owe back taxes, if you have unfiled returns. Hey, if you're afraid of the IRS, call my friend Steve Leahy now. 312-664-6649. Steve's the host of the IRS Radio Hour, heard every Sunday at 5 right here on AM 560. He's also a really good friend of mine, and I don't know of anybody better in dealing with the IRS. Call him now. Steve Leahy, 312-664-6649. That's 312-664-6649.
How do you become America's best-selling brand? Test drive a Ford Escape and find out. With available EcoBoost power and a host of class-exclusive features designed to make life better. Compare Ford Escape next to a Toyota RAV4 or Honda CR-V, and the reasons start to stack up. The 2017 Escape, that's Ford. And that's how you become America's best-selling brand. Sales claim based on 2016 calendar year sales.
Attention shoppers, modern life deserves a modern way to pay. Say hello to MasterPass, the simple, secure way to pay from MasterCard. Not a fan of filling out shopping forms over and over again? MasterPass. Looking for a simple and secure way to buy all of your holiday gifts? MasterPass. Set it up once and you're free to shop online, in-app, or in your favorite stores. MasterPass. So next time, don't just buy it, MasterPass it. Accept it at select merchants.
If you want to work until you drop, reduce your standard of living in retirement, or lose more of your hard-earned money in the stock market, then just ignore me. But if you'd like to generate a steady, predictable income, I'm talking real wealth and financial security for as long as you live, then listen to this. A free report is now available that reveals the money-making secrets Wall Street and the banks don't want you to know. It reveals how you can get guaranteed growth, safety, and wealth-building power without risking your money in the Wall Street casino. To get your free special report, visit bankonyourself.com. That's bankonyourself.com.
In 2012, Barack Obama won the presidency because his campaign used the web in a very smart, effective way. In 2016, Donald Trump showed he could win by using the web in a different, but just as effective way. There are many ways that your business can profit by using the latest proven web techniques. AmericanEagle.com can show you how your organization can succeed beyond your wildest dreams by using all of the latest, most effective online web technologies available. AmericanEagle.com has over 20 years of website development experience and thousands of happy customers to back it up. No one matches AmericanEagle.com's ability to understand the online solutions your organization needs to be the leader in your industry. Design, development, apps, mobile, hosting, strategy, and more. AmericanEagle.com has done it all for all kinds of organizations in all kinds of industries. Call AmericanEagle.com at 773-NETWORK. They'll listen to you and come up with your winning solution. The number again, 773-NETWORK. Visit them online at AmericanEagle.com, the only name you need to know for website development.
Hi, Amy Jacobson here. You know, the best home improvement decision I ever made was to call CertaPro Painters. No joke. Last spring, their trained, talented painters magically reformed my porch. Property values actually went up. But now that winter is set in, let's get your interior painting done, and CertaPro Painters are the only ones to call. You know, CertaPro Painters is celebrating its 25th anniversary this year, and we invite you to experience the CertaPro difference. When they come into your home, they are so quiet they won't wake a baby. And guess what? The best part is they clean up after themselves. So with this new year, you should refresh and renew your living space. Book your interior painting project today. For a free estimate, call our good friends over there at CertaPro at 1-800-GO-CERTA. That's CERTA with a C. Or visit CertaPro.com. And we invite you to experience the CertaPro difference. I'm glad I called them. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated. CertaPro Painters, we do painting, you do life. Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer,
Sally Field and a bunch of Hollywood C and D list celebrities have put together another plaintiff Trump video. We'll review at 6:06.
And looky here, the new Senate Minority Leader has a message for Tweeter-in-Chief Donald Trump. But first, let's go into the newsroom. Here's Mike Scott.
Colder air returning to Chicagoland today. An off-duty Chicago police officer who shot and killed a man has been relieved of his police powers. Chicago alderman is running for governor. While the Bulls clash with the Cavaliers, the Blackhawks are getting set to battle the Sabres tomorrow. A windy and colder day with clouds and sunshine ahead and a high of 18. Your full forecast after Fox. WIND Chicago News Time, 6 o'clock.
Fox News Radio. I'm Dave Anthony. He won't be there to veto the Republican Congress anymore, so before he leaves office, President Obama will go to Capitol Hill this morning to help the Democrats strategize on how to keep Obamacare intact. Fox's Rachel Sutherland is there live.
Dave, the president's meeting here on the Hill comes as Republicans look for ways to undo his signature accomplishment. Lawmakers plan to phase out the law over a period of years while they come up with a replacement. White House Press Secretary Josh Earnest.
That's not a responsible way to govern, and it certainly is not an indication that you're looking out for working people in this country.
As President Obama meets with Democrats, Vice President-elect Mike Pence will meet with House Republicans to discuss plans to repeal and replace Obamacare. Dave.
Rachel, the Republican Senator President-elect Trump wants as Attorney General Jeff Sessions is under protest. The national leader of the NAACP and 5 others were arrested staging a sit-in at Sessions' Alabama office.
Black leaders say they have concerns about Sessions' record, which they say includes prosecuting black activists on voter fraud allegations during Sessions' time as a U.S. attorney. A spokesperson for Senator Sessions says opponents are distorting his record.
Fox's Colonel Scott, President-elect Trump remains critical of intelligence. He puts in quotes on Twitter that Russians interfered in the election, saying he'll get a briefing Friday. WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange again claims to Fox's Sean Hannity the hacked Democrat emails he published did not come from Russia or a state.
They're trying to delegitimize Trump administration as it goes into the White House.
The CIA director says Assange is not a bastion of truth and integrity. An Israeli soldier convicted of manslaughter in the shooting of a wounded Palestinian attacker in the West Bank. Then one of Sergeant Aylor Azaria's relatives screamed in court the verdict's a disgrace amid protests from his supporters outside. Israel's defense minister disagrees with the decision but called on a divided public to respect it. Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
Some clouds, 11 degrees, a wind chill of 9 below zero. 6:02 is our time on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning, everyone. I'm Mike Scott. Colder air returning to Chicago. Chance of flurries as well, with temps expected to drop into the single digits. A Chicago police officer who was off duty when he fatally shot a man Monday has been relieved of his police powers. Chicago Police Department says the action against the unnamed officer was due to the resulting investigation from that fatal shooting. On Monday, Chicago Police Superintendent Eddie Johnson said that shooting was the result of a verbal altercation, and the officer and subject knew each other from a prior incident. Authorities investigating a shooting that killed 2 teen boys and wounded another woman on Chicago's west side. It happened in the 3400 block of West Fulton, where the 16-year-old and 17-year-old were shot. Both teens were pronounced dead at a nearby hospital a short time later. Chicago Alderman Amaya Pawar is running for governor of Illinois. The Northside Democrat confirming yesterday he will challenge Republican Governor Bruce Rauner in 2018. Pawar has served as 47th Ward Alderman since being elected in 2011. Vice President Joe Biden swore in Tammy Duckworth as Illinois' new U.S. Senator at a ceremony in Washington yesterday. Duckworth is the second woman to represent Illinois in the U.S. Senate. She was the controversial director of the Illinois Department of Veterans Affairs and faced whistleblower lawsuits over hiring and firing practices. Chicago sports, college hoops last night in the MAC. Miami topped Northern Illinois. Big Ten women's basketball, Ohio State over Northwestern 94-87. Bulls take on Cleveland later on tonight. The news a service of LifeLock. Grabbing coffee or breakfast? If you swipe your card, you leave a trail of digital information. Thieves can use that to steal your identity. Ever hear of LifeLock? Their U.S.-based team of specialists help resolve identity theft problems. Go to LifeLock.com now. Use promo code RISK to save 10%. 6:04 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Do you think identity theft is only when someone adds charges to your credit card? It's actually when someone pretends to be you to open new accounts in your name or any number of bad things. LifeLock can help. We use proprietary technology to alert you to a huge range of identity threats. And if you have a problem, we have a team of U.S.-based specialists who will work to fix it. No one can prevent all identity theft or monitor all transactions at all businesses. Membership starts at $9.99 a month, plus applicable taxes. Go to LifeLock.com and use promo code NEWS to get 10% off.
How do you become America's best-selling brand? Test drive a Ford Escape and find out. With available EcoBoost power and a host of class-exclusive features designed to make life better. Compare Ford Escape next to a Toyota RAV4 or Honda CR-V, and the reasons start to stack up. The 2017 Escape, that's Ford. And that's how you become America's best-selling brand. Sales claim based on 2016 calendar year sales.
6:05 is our time, and a check of the roads is next. We go to our AM 560 traffic center and get the latest with Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. South side got a fire, 103rd and Wentworth. Units are responding in that area. On the expressways, things are fairly light right now, but on the Bishop Ford Freeway, there's a crash at Dalton Avenue in the left lane. Delays start around Sibley. It's also heavy approaching the merge. You're looking at about 20 minutes from 8094 to the Ryan. The Edens is fine. The Kennedy delay-free. A stall at Armitage is gone now, though it's a little heavy approaching Armitage after that stall just cleared. The locals are wide open. The Eisenhower, a little congestion past Manheim, but nothing of significance yet. Stevenson, 38 minutes, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive. Ryan, 21 minutes, 95th to downtown. Traffic is service of Staples. Is your New Year's resolution to get new customers in the door? Staples Print and Marketing Services helps you promote your business with low prices on presentations, signs, pens, mugs, and more. Right now, you can get 15% off custom signs and banners. Ends 3/24. See an associate for details. Staples, make more happen. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center, providing the right climate for business since 1935. Here's meteorologist Kevin Snyder.
Cold wave into Sunday. Clouds and sun today, breezy with a high 18. Then for tonight, cloudy and cold with a low of just 8. Wind chill valleys as low as 0 to 10 below 0. For tomorrow, mostly cloudy and still bitterly cold with a high of 15. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
11 at O'Hare, 14 along the lakefront. Your next news update is at 6:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by HealthQuest Radio with Dr. David Kolbaba. HealthQuest Radio is heard Saturday mornings at 11 o'clock here on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning. Welcome to your Wednesday morning briefing. Here's what you need to know to start your day.
After more than a dozen years at Fox News, I have decided to pursue a new challenge.
Now, Ford just announced it's moving all of its small car production to Mexico also. Not good. Not good.
And that's why we're making this decision to invest here in the U.S. and in our plant here in Michigan.
The only way we're going to work with him is if he moves completely in our direction and abandons his Republican colleagues.
So I want to say to the American people, we hear you. We will do right by you. And we will deliver.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good Wednesday morning. Welcome back to Jan and Amy Show, AM 560, The Answer. Dan, who's been having a cold symptoms lately, I think he's in the bathroom. We're trying to find him. We know that he's in the building because he was here for the first hour of the show. So he'll be joining us shortly. But I don't know if you saw this, folks, but there's a new... Oh, here he is. I was just describing this great video, this new Hollywood celebrities urging Americans to do the right thing.
I thought we were just on from 5 to 6.
No,
When did we extend the show?
I did mention that you were here for the first hour of the show, and then you disappeared. Is everything okay there?
I got lost in my own head out there contemplating the man's existence. Sorry about that. So the Hollywood, Hollyweed, because you saw the graffiti or the vandalism of the Hollywood sign.
Oh, yeah,
over the
that's
holidays.
right.
They made it to Hollyweed.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah, that's kind of appropriate. So,
yeah, but I'm watching this right now. This video.
Well, here's the video. It's another plaintiff cry. Sally Field got together with a Key from Key and Peele.
Oh,
that's
love those.
That's like the next most famous celebrity in this featured in this video.
Rosie Perez is in it, and Steve Buscemi from Boardwalk Empire.
Buscemi.
Or you say I say Buscemi, you say Buscemi.
Yeah,
but the hashtag is stand up for us, man.
Yeah,
or just stand up for us.
Buscemi is in it, but then it trails off considerably.
Because I don't know who the rest of
developer Bruce Ratner.
I don't know who the rest of these people are.
Zoe Kazan, Leah Delaria. Yeah. Here's their message to Congress with respect to the incoming President of the United States.
Dear members of Congress.
Dear members of Congress.
Dear members of Congress.
Dear members of Congress.
I'm mad.
Flabbergasted.
Furious.
Concerned for my children.
I'm worried for everyone.
The majority of Americans, regardless of who they voted for,
did not vote for racism,
for sexism, or for xenophobia. And yet Donald Trump won.
And since he won,
hate crimes are rising.
Women have been attacked in his name.
People of color attacked in his name.
You represent us in Congress.
You are our last line of defense.
So here's what we ask of our elected officials.
No, here's what we demand.
To the extent that Trump pursues racist,
sexist, anti-immigrant,
anti-worker, anti-Muslim, anti-Semitic, anti-environmental policies,
we demand that you vigorously oppose him.
We demand that you block nominees who threaten the rights of women,
the LGBT community,
people of color, immigrants, and the poor.
And we want you to know that we are with you.
As long as you do that stuff, we won't remain silent.
We won't remain silent.
We won't remain silent.
We'll work harder to mobilize our votes
and our communities. But we need you, and we expect you to have our backs.
To protect our civil liberties and to use your congressional powers
to obstruct.
To obstruct.
Obstruct, defeat,
anything.
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 Anything that violates our core values as diverse Americans.
Signed, the majority.
The majority.
The majority.
The majority.
The majority.
The majority
of the American people.
Sally Field, first of all, it looks like she's crying in this video. And the other people later on, a lot of them are in the show Orange is the New Black, which is on Netflix. You know, that prison flick.
I'm familiar with it.
Yes.
Orange is the New Black is also the theme of the transition of power. Hi-oh. So
now you should tweet that, Senor Dan.
So let me say a couple things. One, yes. Sally Field, no, I don't like you. I really don't like you. Well, no, Sally Field, her seminal role, you know what she won the Academy Award for. That speech wasn't Norma Ray, was it?
No.
It was Places in the Heart.
Oh.
John Malkovich. Great Illinoisan, John Malkovich, great actor. Places in the Heart. Yeah, that was about, I mean, I know you're more of a Smokey and the Bandit type. Places in the Heart was the last time I had much concern about Sally Field, or much appreciation for her, maybe is a better way to describe it. So it's interesting. We're the majority, right? Mm-hmm. They're obstructionists now, these Hollyweeders.
Yeah.
When it was the Obama administration taking over and Democrats in control of Congress, boom, let's move, right? And I don't begrudge them that, because they are leftists and they want a big government left agenda. Now, I disagree with that agenda because it tends to destroy individual liberty and everything else that it touches, as we've seen, to wit, Chicago, ground zero for every big government leftist gambit of the last 50 years. But it's just interesting. It's something for us to remember, because there's so many vishy, weak-kneed Republicans, and Illinois also the ground zero for that when they're provided an opportunity to govern, provided an opportunity to lead, bipartisan compromise, they still are wooed by the siren song of the left, that even from a minority position, a super minority position, which is really what the Democrat Party nationally is right now, a super minority party. That's what it is. That still, we still have to bring in Chuck Schumer, or it's not legitimate. We still want to forge bipartisan compromise. No, you move your agenda. That's why you've been put in the supermajority position, to move your agenda. So do so. Take a look at what Democrats did when they had control of the legislative and the executive in 2008 to 2010. Take a look at what Democrats have done in major urban centers for the last 100 years, like Chicago, what they've done in Illinois, running the table over the last 20 years in the General Assembly for the most part, certainly 30 years in the House. So it's just something to remember, because what they want you to believe, and they're just actors playing out the Alinskyite playbook, make the majority believe they're the minority. Remember what Bob Creamer, Creamy Bob?
Okay, why are you going to say
Creamy
like
Bob
that?
is
Just
the...
say Jan Schakowsky's husband.
Creamy
Are they
Bob,
still together, by the way?
and very much in love, as I understand it.
Pulling for those two kitties.
Convicted felon husband of Calamity Jan Schakowsky's Creamy Bob. In his book, Stand Up Straight, How Progressives Can Win, in 2007, Bob Creamer wrote, "In general, our strategic goal with people who have become conservative activists is not to convert them. That isn't going to happen. It's to demoralize them, to deactivate them. We need to deflate their enthusiasm to make them lose their ardor and, above all, their self-confidence. A way to demoralize conservative activists is to surround them with the echo chamber of our positions and assumptions. We need to make them feel they are not mainstream, to make them feel isolated. We must isolate them ideologically and use the progressive echo chamber. By defeating them and isolating them ideologically, we demoralize conservative activists directly. Then they begin to quarrel among themselves and blame each other for defeat and isolation, and that demoralizes them further." Well, the same applies to politicians that wear an R label, politicians even that describe themselves as conservatives first and Republicans second. And that's what these Hollyweed videos are about, to try and gin up, kind of the hoi polloi support for illegitimate positions like the need for quote-unquote bipartisan consensus or compromise.
Right. And then, it's obviously the first celebrity-filled political PSA of the year, but what they're trying to do is make sure that Donald Trump doesn't nominate a Supreme Court justice who is anti-women, LGBT, people of color, immigrants, and the poor.
Well, that's absurd, because that's not going to happen. That's their position. That's their rhetoric.
That's what they think they're right. And I think that's the precipitous of why they put out this PSA.
No, it's across the board. It's them saying, okay, we recognize that we lost the election. Mm-hmm. Now we finally come to grips with that. So now we demand that the members of Congress to whom we write checks be obstructionists. And also, let's understand this is a two-way street. Members of Congress and the progressive radical left grassroots going to these Hollywood celebs and saying, we need another video. We need you to play your part in the culture war.
Who's on board?
Because when conservatives and Republicans, in particular, Republicans first, when they recoil from the culture war, the left is happy to occupy that space. Oh, well, you're taking on Hollywood, and then this is essentially the reason for Trump is because he was willing to do what so few Republicans have been willing to do. Tell everybody in those elite circles to go pound sand. And they're not going away because the left never goes away, because big government and control of others is their stock and trade. They're not just going to give that up because they lost an election. And let me just point this out, accentuate this. This is not just Hollyweed and this rabble of celebrities. Listen to what Chuck Schumer said in an interview with CNN.
The only way we're going to work with him is if he moves completely in our direction and abandons his Republican colleagues.
Right.
Your new Senate Minority Leader. Oh, yeah. And also, too, he was on with Rachel Maddow last night and said they're not going to accept a right-wing Supreme Court justice.
Yeah. We are not going to settle on a Supreme Court nominee. If they don't appoint someone who's really good, we're going to oppose them tooth and nail.
Yeah,
but my way or the highway.
But Chuck Schumer, this is bipartisan compromise. So understand what the left is saying when they use that phrase and why some Republicans and conservatives adopt that as well to make them sound, I guess in their own minds, that makes them sound like, oh, I'm so open-minded and conciliatory, and I'm a collaborative type of person. I'm not ideological. I'm not dogmatic. Chuck Schumer has no problem saying the only way we're going to work with Trump is if he abandons his Republican colleagues altogether and advances our agenda. That is compromise for Obama and for the radical left, of which Obama is just the most recent and pronounced incarnation. Agree with me. Wow. Do my bidding. That's what I call compromise. Now, when you do the same thing, you're an iconoclast. You're a radical. You're an ideological extremist. And when the Democrats name call, a lot of Republicans lose heart. We've seen that play out over and over again, which is why Gingrich said over the holidays, my biggest concern is that Trump and those that are inclined to be revolutionary, to advance transformative policies and have done so in their private lives and some in their political lives are certainly inclined to do so, that they lose heart because they run into the inertia of the big government beltway. So this is a really important point. Listen to what the left says when they are out of power, and then listen to remember what they said when they're in power. Right? Their positions change when their access to power changes, because ultimately it's about just getting access to power. Their positions change when their interests change, when their leverage changes. There's nothing principled about it. It is the naked pursuit of power. Bipartisan compromise when we're in power is you do what we say. Bipartisan compromise when you're in power is you do what we say. Do you get it? So this should be something laid bare that Republicans should continue to present to the American people to really marginalize the left even further and provide the foundation to say, this is what you voted for, this is what we're going to do, and do so regardless of the caterwauling you hear from Chuck Schumer and the marginalized left and the minority Democrat Party, the super minority Democrat Party nationally. Get about your business and advance policies consistent with those conservative principles that were victorious largely on November 8th, even if it in parts took a crude form of Trump. Do that, or you're going to be staring back up at someone like Obama, Andrew Cuomo, think about in 2020, with a Democrat Congress saying, hey, this is what the people voted for. We're going to run the table with our agenda.
Before you see it on TV, share it on Facebook, or read about it in the paper, hear it here first. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Chilly start to the day, 14 degrees right now at O'Hare, going up to a high of 18, but if you factor in the wind chill, it'll be around 0 to 1 degree out there. And then tonight, a low of 8, and tomorrow, mostly cloudy, bitterly cold again, a high of 15 degrees. Any high travel times? Let's get the latest from Jim Telemonte.
Miami expressways and tollways aren't too bad. It's nasty weather for a house fire. We got one on the south side. State Street is closed between 101st and 103rd. This blaze on 102nd Place. Have delays and a cancellation on Metro's Milwaukee West line due to mechanical issues. The Edens is delay-free. Kennedy inbound. Heavy Austin to Lawrence, 21 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, outbound fine at 20. On Eisenhower has just a 1 or 2 minute delay. First Avenue to Harlem, outbound it's fine. And on Stevenson, delays start at Pulaski. 37 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound fine at 34. Ryan, 22 minutes, 95th to downtown. Bishop Ford, a little heavy, 154th to Dalton Avenue. There was an earlier crash. That's just a 2 or 3 minute delay. Tollways are pretty light. I'm Jim Talamonte at the AM 560 Traffic Center.
I'm Dan Proft.
And I'm Amy Jacobson.
And we want to say thanks to each and every one of you who helped us to reach our goal of providing food for a year and water for life for 2,000 kids and counting in Haiti and Guatemala.
Your generosity means that these children will have a shot at living a happy and healthy life despite the enormous challenges they face.
And just because the Christmas season is over and we're starting a new year, that doesn't mean the need has gone away. You can still make a difference in the life of a child by making a $50 donation to Food for the Poor. Food for the Poor is one of America's largest and most trusted charities. Since 1982, they've been helping the poorest of the poor by directing resources directly to those in the greatest need.
Just call 855-880-3663. That's 855-880-FOOD, or go to 560theanswer.com, keyword food.
And thanks to the many business benefactors who supported this campaign, when you hear their ads on the radio station this year, we'd ask that you support their businesses as a way of thanking them for their generosity.
The following is not an actor, but a real-life story from Trinity Debt Management.
I had a lot of credit card debt, and I couldn't pay my bills. I was feeling so bad. I got to a point where I needed some help. So I reached out and contacted Trinity.
If you're in debt and you need help, call Trinity at 1-800-990-6976 to talk to a certified counselor.
They were able to take all of my different payments and put them all together.
Trinity will consolidate your accounts into one easy-to-manage monthly payment, put a stop to late fees and over-limit charges, reduce your interest, and possibly improve your credit score. You'll save thousands.
And they were actually able to work with my creditors. I've been able to pay off close to $15,000 in the last 18 months.
If your debt has you down, call Trinity at 1-800-990-6976.
My name is Stephanie, and I'm debt-free for keeps.
1-800-990-6976.
This is Andy Bizup with another great reason to choose Midwest Performance Cars over the dealer for maintenance and repair of your European car. Reason number 3, convenience. How many times have you dropped your car at the dealer for service only to find out that they are out of loaners or you have to wait for a shuttle ride in a smelly van? No such problem at MPC, where we provide you with Lyft or Uber service to your office or train. Make the convenient choice at MidwestPerformanceCars.com or call us at 312-432-9492.
Mike Rowe here for 1 hour. Today, Chuck is jogging in place to make a point about energy efficiency.
I thought I was training for a marathon.
He's been at it now for...
3 minutes.
And already he's wearing out.
I'm not.
Your heating and air conditioning systems are a lot like Chuck.
Warm yet somehow cool.
Wheezing, wasting energy, and probably headed for replacement.
You're talking about the air systems, right?
Sure, pal. Sure. Call 1 hour before it's too late.
Can you do the disclaimer for me?
Each independent franchise is licensed in its respective state or county.
Thanks.
AM 560, The Answer.
Coming up on Chicago's... Oh, no, what am I doing?
The segment's coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer. And as we were talking about that Hollywood video, a Hollyweed video, as it were.
Did they ever find the kids who changed it from Hollywood to Hollyweed?
I don't know. I don't think so.
It was pretty creative, I have to tell you.
I think that had been done before, decades earlier.
Oh.
So,
what were you doing?
There's nothing new in this
week,
world.
Dan?
It's just the history we don't know, as Truman said. And we talked about kind of the Alinsky tactics. We heard what Chuck Schumer had to say. And then, of course, everybody playing their role on the left. And so you have law professors in academia. 1,100 law professors opposing the nomination of Jeff Sessions to be the next attorney general wrote an open letter to the Washington Post saying he should be rejected by the Senate. And it just goes kind of, as David French of National Review writes, just kind of a compilation of Huffington Post headlines cobbled together in a letter. This is the liberal law professors opposing a conservative nominee for attorney general. That's groundbreaking.
Well, and then they did a sit-in, too, at his office.
That was the NAACP.
NAACP, yeah.
Yeah. So
look like they're having a grand old time.
So this just in, the radical left in academia opposes conservative nominees for cabinet positions.
Oh, I'm shocked.
It's stunning.
What world do we live in?
Right. And
what year is this?
French makes another important point, though, about these law professors. The cost of relentless academic partisanship is academic credibility. It's not news that these leftists don't like a conservative nominee, but their prestige and the prestige of the institutions that employ them are in grand decline, and it smacks of a bit of desperation to stay relevant. I think he's right about that. I think they're completely irrelevant, and 1,100 or 11,000, we all know where they're coming from, and that's speaks more to the kind of systemic problem in academia than it does about the prospects for Jeff Sessions to be the next attorney general. But it is worth pointing out. So you've got Hollywood, you've got academics, and then you've got your partisan leaders like Chuck Schumer, all playing their part, all trying to cower congressional Republicans. And it seems to me the only one who's been effective so far in cowering congressional Republicans or anybody else is Donald Trump. Mm-hmm. So the hope is he continues to do it in the right direction towards conservative policy solutions. And we'll see. We'll pick that thread up after the news to talk about CEO of Ford, who's also had a bit of a change of heart.
Mm-hmm. Connect with Dan and Amy on the AM 560 The Answer mobile app. Just text the word app to 64636 to download the app today.
Are you behind in your mortgage, facing foreclosure, being given the runaround on a loan modification application by some bank or servicer? Well, you're not alone, but I may be able to help you. My name is Lou Bridges. I'm with the law firm of Lou Bridges & Associates. We've put together a team to help distressed homeowners like you. Give us a call. We give everyone who's eligible a free consultation. I guarantee you it will not be a sales pitch. We will give you our honest analysis, counsel, recommendations, and advice regarding your options.
We are experts in doing loan modifications successfully. We know the regs. We understand the process. Most importantly, we don't take no for an answer. We fight. We are prepared, and we win. We save houses. We make houses affordable. So if you want to keep your house affordable, contact us.
Go to bridgeslaw.net or call 224-513-1231. That's 224-513-1231.
Remember, people, never give up the land. Fight for truth and justice. You do that, and I guarantee you'll never be alone.
Hey, it's a new year, but it's the same old cold, snowy weather here in Chicago. And a great way to start 2017 is to book your trip to somewhere warm and sunny. Somewhere. Like where? Like Punta Cana in the Dominican Republic. That's where we're heading this year. Dan, Amy, Joe Walsh. It's an unlimited luxury resort that just opened in November. 5 gourmet restaurants, 7 bars, unlimited premium drinks, 24-hour room service. All the bells and whistles. And the resort has sparkling pools and a beautiful beach. There's beach volleyball. Come on. Who wants to play? So join us in Punta Cana. Get more information and book your trip by visiting 560theanswer.com, keyword passport. Now, the trip is filling up fast, so do not wait. And the price that Apple Vacations has secured for this trip is incredible and exclusive only to us, but it will expire, so don't miss out. Do it today. Visit 560theanswer.com. Keyword passport. That's 560theanswer.com. Keyword passport. Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Ellen kicks a gospel singer off her show at 6:36.
Oh, my. But first, into the newsroom we go. Here's Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, 13 degrees, wind chill of 10 below, and police in Istanbul, Turkey are setting up checkpoints as we speak, and they're looking for vehicles in the city as security levels remain high after the New Year's nightclub attack. 5 are now being detained in raids conducted overnight. They're still searching for the man they believe carried out that attack for ISIS. President Barack Obama heads to Capitol Hill today. He'll try and give congressional Democrats a pep talk on how to fight GOP efforts to dismantle his health insurance overhaul. Meantime, Vice President-elect Mike Pence will huddle with GOP lawmakers to discuss the best way to send Obamacare to its graveyard and replace it. Fox News Radio's Jared Halperin has more on the huddling on Capitol Hill.
Senate Republicans will start an effort to repeal the Affordable Care Act right away. Budget Committee Chairman Mike Enzi introduced a resolution that makes good on GOP plans to move quickly on overhauling President Obama's signature health care law. Vice President-elect Mike Pence will meet with Republicans here tomorrow to go over repeal and replace plans. It's a counterpunch to President Obama's Capitol Hill visit also tomorrow to meet with Democrats on how to save the health care law. Democrats are already criticizing Republicans for moving ahead on repeal without consensus on a replacement. At the Capitol, Jared Halpern, Fox News.
President Obama planning to move more terror detainees from the Guantanamo Bay Detention Center before he leaves office.
I can't speak to any individual notifications that have been made to Congress or give you a specific preview about potential upcoming transfers. But I think I would expect at this point additional transfers to be announced before January 20th.
Earlier, President-elect Trump tweeted there should be no further releases from Guantanamo Bay. The sentencing phase begins today in Charleston, South Carolina for Dylan Roof, the 22-year-old convicted in the slayings of 9 black worshipers at a Charleston church. Colder air pours back into Chicagoland, wind chills into negative digits most of this day. A Chicago police officer was off duty when he fatally shot a man Monday and now has been relieved of his police powers. Family of a teen shot and killed by a DuPage County Sheriff's deputy in Villa Park believes the shooting was unjustified. Attorneys for the teen's family claim Trayvon Johnson was unarmed. And Oakland, California will name its first female chief of police. Media outlets in the Bay Area and here in Chicago report Ann Kirkpatrick will be named as Oakland's police chief. Kirkpatrick was up for superintendent in the city of Chicago before that job went to Eddie Johnson. She has currently been leading organizational development for the Chicago Police Department. Miami beat Northern Illinois in the MAC 69-67. The news service of LifeLock, grabbing coffee or breakfast. If you swipe that card, you leave a trail of digital information that thieves can use to steal your identity. Ever hear of LifeLock? Their U.S.-based team of specialists help resolve identity theft problems. Go to LifeLock.com now. Use promo code RISK to save 10%. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Has America's history been the result of a series of fortunate accidents? Is America great because of dumb luck? In his latest book, Michael Medved argues that something greater has been at work. Divine providence. Join AM 560's Michael Medved for a special lunch on Thursday, February 2nd at Belvedere Banquets in Elk Grove Village as he tells the story of the American miracle. Get your tickets now at 560theanswer.com/miracle. That's 560theanswer.com/miracle.
Beautyrest Black is more than a mattress. It's a haven for deep, restorative sleep. With Beautyrest Black, sleep truly is the ultimate luxury. Tonight, dream in black.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
I feel like at least 50% better so far. I'm not as fatigued because I do construction work, so I normally get knocked around a lot. And I'm like 60 plus years old, and I'm still doing it. And I can start beating guys half my age now.
Dr. Howard has put together an all-new health challenge that will absolutely allow you to find out for yourself what Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies will do for you. The new challenge will allow you to receive 2 months of free product. Yes, 2 months of free Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies. Call now for details. And who knows, you may be hearing your own success story on the radio. Call 1-800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code CHICAGO.
I think it's the best nutritional supplement on the market.
It is 6:37. Let's get an update on the roads in our AM 560 traffic center. Here's Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. South Side State Street is closed between 101st and 103rd due to a house fire. The Edens Expressway, slight delays near the junction, 20 minutes either way between Lake Cook and Montrose. The Kennedy, 25 minutes, O'Hare to downtown, outbound 21. On the inbound Eisenhower, looking at 31 minutes, Thorndale, make it 33 now. 33 minutes, Thorndale to downtown, outbound 30. Stevenson running 38 minutes, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive. The Ryan, 22 minutes, 95 to downtown. Bishop Ford just a little heavy from Cottage Grove to the Merge. Northbound Tri-State, slow Plainfield Road to the Hinsdale Oasis. Ogden to 31st, and from the Reagan Tollway to the Eisenhower. The other tollways are fine, and traffic is a service of Subway. Hurry into Subway and get the steak and cheese footlong. That's now just $6. It's packed with thinly sliced steak, free of artificial preservatives and flavors. And melty cheese. Get it with red onions, green peppers, and Chipotle Southwest sauce on toasted bread. Only $6 for a limited time. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center, providing the right climate for business since 1935. Windy, clouds, and sunshine today with a high topping out near 18. Cloudy, very cold, a low of 8 overnight. At O'Hare, clear and 10. At Midway, it's 12. And along Chicago's lakefront, 13. Next news at 7. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by the IRS Radio Hour with attorney Stephen Leahy every Sunday afternoon at 5 on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues now. And make sure to stay tuned to catch me, Mike Gallagher, coming up at 9, only on AM 560, The Answer.
I wish we could have that discussion we're having off air, but we can't.
Well, get back to Gropo Joe Moreno, the first world alderman at some other time. We don't need to hear about him pawing you at Tom Serafin's Christmas party again.
You stop it. But speaking of aldermen, we will have the first alderman. Well, an alderman wants to become your next governor of Illinois. My guy.
Amaya Pawar.
47th Ward.
And he's going to appoint you to replace him when he announces, because, of course, he's going to take a leave from his government job so he can campaign full-time, isn't he? Oh, no.
Well, wait, is he required?
Not.
Do you have to give up your aldermanic seat if you run for a higher office?
That's the whole...
that's the beauty of being an alderman?
Well, it's the unfair advantage of incumbent politicians at every level, that you can keep your public sector job and run for office, where somebody from the outside would have to give up their job or be, independently wealthy so they didn't have to work to run full-time like these politicians do to run for the next office. It's an unfair systemic advantage that incumbent politicians have.
And as a radio talk show host, you can't run for office because they're equal time.
Yeah, I mean,
which is very strange.
It's not legal, but it's usually
some
corporate
FCC
policy.
Thing,
yeah, I mean, because you get into essentially in-kind donations if you had a candidate for office on the air and promoting his candidacy or her candidacy. So it's just. Anyway, we'll talk to Pawar. He's got great ideas, like requiring gun owners to carry liability insurance. So you want to get to the phone lines at about 7:15 when Alderman Pawar is on, because if you like the big government, hard left policies that have been advanced by Chicago Democrats for the past half century, and you think they don't go quite far enough, then you're going to love Alderman
Progressive
Pawar.
As he said, we need a progressive in Springfield.
Yeah, that's what we're lacking.
So his new name is Progressive Pawar.
We'll get to him. But first I want to check my privilege. And luckily, a entrepreneur named Casa Girl.
House Girl? House?
Yeah.
Casa Girl.
Yeah, she's a girl living in Brooklyn, working full-time, making stuff part-time. Her name is Fabiola, and she goes by Fab for obvious reasons. She's getting into the marketing business, and she's developed privilege cards. Check your privilege cards. I need to get these so I can pass
Is
them
it
out.
laminated? Because I only keep laminated items in my wallet.
They can be laminated. They're business card-sized cards.
Mm-hmm.
The front says, "Uh-oh, your privilege is showing." The back gives you a checklist. Which privilege are you exhibiting? You've received this card because your privilege just allowed you to make a comment that others cannot agree or relate to. Check your privilege. The options: white,
Yeah.
socioeconomic, Christian, male, heterosexual, able-bodied, citizen.
Citizen?
That's privilege. And then there's a blank, so you can fill in the blank.
Another? Yeah.
Yeah.
So which one are you right now? Well, you're a male. Dan, you're white.
I'm.
Shh, don't tell anybody.
I have to check. Well, I mean, somebody listening, like if you have this card, after the comment I just made with just describing these cards, I think I would be exhibiting all 7 of the privileges that are listed, and then you could fill in the blank with others that I may be exhibiting, and I may not even be aware of. And that's what's so helpful.
An intellectual?
That's what.
Schmarmy intellectual?
Well, that's so helpful about these cards is that it helps everybody run around regulating everybody else's speech. And that certainly makes for a more cohesive union, don't you think?
Oh, yeah.
I think it'd be very friendly when you get stopped on the street and somebody hands you one of these cards. Also for sale.
You can bring those to church where we repent for our privilege.
No question. Casa Girl also has T-shirts, stickers, wrapping paper, and postcards. Heart stickers for premarital sex. I heart premarital sex. Gravestone stickers for the male ego, haters, crippling student debt. They're sold out at the moment. Perhaps you could pre-order.
Sold out?
For the next shipment, sure. So I bring that up because Kim Burrell didn't check her privilege. Kim Burrell, now she is a African-American female gospel singer. And she was supposed to appear on the Ellen DeGeneres show tomorrow with Pharrell.
I'm sorry, what's her name again?
Kim Burrell.
Okay, Kim Burrell.
She was going to appear with Pharrell, I'm happy, blah,
Right.
blah, blah. Yeah.
Got a room without a view. That sounds awful. I'm going to stop singing right now.
And now Pharrell is going to appear with Amy Jacobson instead because they were going to perform the song I See a Victory, a track she contributed to the Hidden Figures soundtrack. I guess that's a forthcoming movie. But she has been disinvited from the duet with Pharrell on the Ellen DeGeneres show. Why? Because Kim Burrell, who's a renowned gospel singer, she gave a sermon at a church in Houston over the weekend, which was picked up because she said, among other things, this is her church, by the way, in Houston.
Yeah.
Anybody in this room who feels the homosexual spirit, beg God to free you. I came to tell you about sin, that sin nature, that perverted homosexual spirit and the spirit of delusion and confusion. It has deceived many men and women, and it's caused a stain on the body of Christ. Kim Burrell, of course, that's just a portion of what she said. It was much broader than that. It was a sermon about sin. It wasn't specifically about homosexuality, the homosexual spirit as she describes it, but that was included.
Okay.
And this was videoed and posted, and of course it caused a firestorm. And
are you going to play the rest of what she said about the penis?
No, no, I'm not.
I'm talking in
and
code.
I don't think you're pronouncing that word correctly.
Well, okay.
The accent on the wrong syllable. Here is what Kim Burrell did do was take to the web, take to YouTube, and post a video responding to the criticism she received for her sermon. And she said this.
We fight for so much, but for the right thing. To the carnal, all things are carnal. And to the spiritual, all things are spiritual. Don't you understand? I know that people are going to be mad. I have to do what God tells me to do. And I'm passionate about what I do. And when people take it personal, especially if we've never met, you know that the enemy is setting that up. I only signed on for a short while to let y'all know, don't you dare be discouraged. Don't you dare let what these people are saying think that it's rocking my world. I'm not to be shaken because I'm out here for God. And I came on here because I love people. To every person that is dealing with the homosexual spirit that has it, I love you because God loves you, but God hates the sin in you and me. Anything that is against the nature of God. I'm called to do what God called me to do, and that's it. And I do it with passion, just as I pray all of you will. Live with passion.
312-642-5600, turnkey.pro. Answer line 64636DA, turnkey.pro. Text line. What about Ellen disinviting her from the show because of her sermon and ostensibly her response to the criticism? I mean, Ellen has every right to do so. Her show, she can have on whichever guest she wants and not have on.
Ellen's a lesbian and in a committed relationship and has been a lesbian her whole life. I would no way in hell have that lady on my show if I were a lesbian. No way.
Okay. So I just want to understand. So then, because I believe in traditional marriage, and I don't believe in the redefinition of marriage.
Okay. And I respect that.
Right.
I don't agree with you, but I respect that.
So should I take the position then that I don't want anybody on our show who disagrees with me about that issue?
Do we have people on the show that disagree with you about that issue?
Well, I know we have. But the question is, should I take that position then? Because if the threshold question is, I'm not going to have anybody on my show who disagrees with me about a particular issue, is that enlightened? Is that tolerant? Is that intellectually robust? And isn't that Ellen's position?
But she went on to say, if you're a woman and will shake your face on another woman's breasts, you are perverted. And then she said something about the male appendage, which is too disgusting to talk. I mean, that was during her sermon.
Yeah, and here's Ms. Burrell went on to say this about her being directed by God, by the Spirit, not by the carnal, and that was her overriding point about sin.
It is wrong for us to gather that as we rep God, that we take his place. Don't think I'm there. I'm not that shallow. I'm not that shallow. I make no excuses or apologies. My heart is as pure as it comes. And y'all know it when you hear me sing. That's why you follow me. You wouldn't be mad at me if you didn't love me first. You wouldn't be hurt if you didn't love me first. I'm on here to give clarity so y'all will have some understanding to the ones who love me, who are supporting me. No, honey, ain't no backtracking. I don't have to backtrack. Nobody's backtracking. I'm showing the love of God to speak to that teachable spirit that will hear it. Ain't no backtrack. I've been out of here too long speaking strong to backtrack.
You go, girl. And so, no backtracking, not an apology. Is she a bigot? Is she a hater?
Is that hate speech?
No, it's not. But I mean, that's, I guess, the question. And but it goes back to this other question of, well, so you understand her position, her motivation, from where she takes direction. And so there's going to be disagreement about issues, probably other issues, perhaps abortion as well. So what does it say about Ellen that she will not have somebody on her show to perform a song because she disagrees with that person's political or religious views, or religiously inspired political views, I guess you could say? And what would people say about me or anybody else in media, particularly from the conservative side, if we took the same position that Ellen took? What do you think? Randy in Crown Point.
Morning, guys. Amy, you exemplify, and this is not necessarily a shot at you, but you exemplified in your statement that you wouldn't have her on that show no matter what. She has her own belief system. Why is it so hard for the left to accept that I do believe that it is against the word of God for homosexuality, as well as abortion, as well as sin in general, period? And this lady stands firm on that. What is wrong with allowing another side to enter the equation? Ellen, just shut her down. That's the left's problem. Amy, you're not on the left, yet you took a left point of view on that. You got to let people have their own belief system. I have my belief system. Don't shut me down because I have my own belief system. I don't shut the left down. I just don't agree with them.
Yeah, thanks for the
Yeah, but her
thanks for the
rhetoric
call,
was
Randy.
graphic and just classless.
Yeah.
I thought that during that speech. And you know what? Maybe Ellen should have her on and Ellen should give her a great big hug.
Well, or you can discuss the issue, but that's the problem with the intolerant left, and I'm being redundant.
Mm-hmm.
And the problem is they don't want to defend their position. They want to silence those who have a different one. And that speaks to the quality of their position and, frankly, their intellectual capacity to defend it, to explain it.
It would be a great show if Ellen talked about her, how she was born, never being attracted to men. She could talk about, but I'm still a God-loving person. I'm still a Christian. And have that intellectual conversation and have an honest, open conversation.
Is that how Ellen describes herself?
That show is not. No, I have no idea. But but if she was, then that would be an interesting, thoughtful show. But it's not. It's all about dancing and doing push-ups and yucking it up. It's an entertainment show. They never talk about real issues.
Oh, really? They've had the President of the United States on. They've had the First Lady of the United States on.
Yeah, she co-hosted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I guess
you
you're
don't
right.
talk about the issues.
I guess you're
you
right.
Talk about,
when you have
what's the hardest part of being president.
I suppose that's right. When you have guests like the Obamas, you're not a serious show.
It's like a hot, steaming cup of information to start your day. It's Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560, The Answer.
I'm Lou Dobbs. Ford and Toyota both saving auto worker jobs. Panic at the pump in Mexico. And standing by for new figures on job creation. Those stories next.
Bill Bennett here to tell you about Augusta Precious Metals. Attention, investors. Your IRA or your 401k may be at risk again. The 2008 crash wiped out up to 50% of IRAs and 401ks. Can you afford to lose again? What if you could store IRA or 401k savings where you can see, touch, and hold it in your hands? With the Augusta Gold or Silver IRA, you transfer a portion of retirement savings into physical coins you can actually see and get fast in case of any disaster. Call Augusta Precious Metals today for a free gold and silver IRA guide. No obligation. Augusta Precious Metals, A-plus Better Business Bureau rating, 98% 5-star customer satisfaction rating with TrustLink.org. Trust Augusta. Call Augusta Precious Metals today at 1-855-222-6993. That's 1-855-222-6993. One more time, 1-855-222-6993.
Ford Motor Company's announcement it's scrapping a $1.6 billion project in Mexico, one of two auto worker-related developments as we begin the new year. Toyota also announcing it's beginning the shutdown of its headquarters in northern Kentucky, but those jobs are being relocated to Plano, Texas, outside Dallas. Economic reports on tap today, including new figures on motor vehicle sales, plus updates on job creation, consumer spending, and mortgage applications. Motorists in Mexico dealing with chaos as bands of protesters are blockading roads and gas stations following government deregulation of pump prices for gasoline. The price per liter has jumped by as much as 20% in many places. Please join me for Lou Dobbs tonight, 7 and 11 Eastern on the Fox Business Network. This is the Lou Dobbs Financial Report.
Hey, if you aren't getting a great night's sleep, I suggest you order a MyPillow today and start the year right. MyPillow has a patented interlocking fill that adjusts to your individual sleep needs. It's washable, dryable, made in the U.S. of A., and guaranteed not to go flat for 10 years, they say. Now, the new year's here, so I suggest you resolve to sleep better and feel better. The best offer ever is still available. When you buy one MyPillow, you'll receive another MyPillow absolutely free, plus those 2 Go Anywhere pillows. Love that. You can throw one in your car and take a nap anytime you want. Put it in park, though, first. Hey, you're guaranteed to be satisfied, so visit MyPillow.com. Click the radio listener special tab and use the promo code Amy. Again, you'll get 2 premium MyPillows, 2 Go Anywhere pillows, all for the price of one. So start the year right. MyPillow.com or call 800-489-0201. That's 800-489-0201.
This is a test. WIND is conducting a test of the emergency alert system. This is only a test. We now return to our regularly scheduled programming, already in progress.
On January 22, 1973, the Supreme Court handed down the Roe v. Wade decision, legalizing abortion in America. Almost 60 million abortions have occurred since that date, and the lives of millions of women have been impacted by that decision. On January 13th, Eric Scheidler, Executive Director of the Pro-Life Action League, will be the featured speaker at the Catholic Citizens Forum Luncheon. Eric, a longtime pro-life activist, will address the effectiveness of public witness on the damage abortion has caused, tell of past victories, and lay out the future goals of the pro-life movement. He'll recount the progress made in changing hearts and minds, reflected in the opinion polls that report a majority of Americans are now pro-life. Join us at the Union League Club of Chicago on January 13th to hear this important talk. For information, go to CatholicCitizens.org or call Maureen at 708-352-5834. That's 708-352-5834.
Are you facing foreclosure, been foreclosed upon, in a bad modification, or just stuck in a bad mortgage? Well, we may be able to help you. My name is Lou Bridges. I'm an attorney with the law firm of Lou Bridges & Associates. We've been helping distressed homeowners like you for over 8 years now. We defend foreclosure actions. We bring claims against the banks and the servicers for wrongful foreclosure and other violations of mortgage servicing regulations. And we help people negotiate modifications of their existing mortgages, often including principal reductions. Give us a call. We provide free consultations. I guarantee you it will not be a sales pitch. We will give you our honest analysis, counsel, and advice regarding your options.
Hi, this is Rayanne from Lou Bridges & Associates. I am one of the loan modification processors here, and if you are in need of any additional information in regard to a loan modification, please contact the office.
Go to bridgeslaw.net or call 224-513-1231. That's 224-513-1231.
Remember, people, never give up the land. Fight for truth and justice. You do that, and I guarantee you'll never be alone.
You've been there, or maybe you're there right now. So many uncertainties making you feel lost and insecure about the future. There's so many what-ifs that pop into your head on a regular basis. Your concerns are real. One day, you or your family may need long-term care or disability help. Unfortunate events can happen with your business or home. And of course, there's dealing with all the changing rules and regulations of healthcare. It's a lot of weight to carry around. For peace of mind and security, knowing you're ready for anything, contact independent insurance agent Eddie Grisco of the Grisco Group. As an independent insurance agent, Eddie Grisco offers more choices, less hassle, and exactly the right amount of protection for you or your business. He's your own personal advocate that can help you navigate all of the overwhelming insurance choices so you can get back to living and not worrying. Contact Eddie Grisco of the Grisco Group, a full-service insurance agent selling all types and lines of insurance. You can reach Eddie at 815-836-8233. 815-836-8233.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Just real quick, a tweet from Holly and Hudson. Look at it the other way. Kim Burrell was willing to go on Ellen despite Ellen's views and beliefs. That's the story. Text from 847. Good thing Ellen isn't a Christian florist because she wouldn't have been allowed to refuse to have someone with whom she disagrees on her show. Coming up, should Americans be microchipped for their safety?
But first, into the newsroom, here's Mike Scott.
Colder air returning to Chicagoland. WIND Chicago News Time, 7 o'clock.
Fox News Radio. I'm Dave Anthony. What can President Obama do to stop Republicans from repealing the health care law with his name on it? He'll go to Capitol Hill next hour to strategize with Democrats. Fox's Rachel Sutherland is there live.
Dave, there are actually dueling meetings here on the Hill today. The president will huddle with Democrats, while Vice President-elect Mike Pence will meet with House Republicans to strategize plans to phase out Obamacare while coming up with a replacement. White House Press Secretary Josh Earnest says that's not a responsible way to govern.
The prospect of, don't worry, the 22 million Americans who have health insurance because of the Affordable Care Act, we'll get around to offering up a replacement at some later date.
Republican leaders are in favor of keeping some parts of the law, such as the pre-existing conditions clause. Dave?
Rachel, President-elect Trump has put the word intelligence in quotation marks on Twitter, referring to reports of Russian interference in the election, saying it's very strange his briefing's been delayed till Friday, but intelligence officials dispute there's a delay. As WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange again tells Fox's Sean Hannity, he did not get the hacked Democrat emails he published from Russia.
Our source is not the Russian government, and it is not state
party.
CIA Director John Brennan, though, tells PBS NewsHour
he's not exactly a bastion of truth and integrity.
The jury that convicted Dylan Roof of federal hate crimes and other charges in the Charleston, South Carolina church massacre will this morning start considering the death penalty, and Roof will be his own lawyer.
Dylan Roof has indicated that he does plan to offer his own opening statement, that he will make a closing argument, but he says during this hearing he plans to call no witnesses and to present no mitigating evidence. Prosecutors, on the other hand, plan to call as many as 38 people to testify.
That's Fox's Jonathan Seri. Turkish police have checkpoints across the city of Istanbul detaining 5 suspected ISIS militants possibly connected to the New Year's nightclub attack. The terrorist gunman still on the loose. Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
In Chicago, a chilly start to the morning, 13 degrees. Winds west at 17, giving us a wind chill of 10 below zero at 7:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning, everyone. I'm Mike Scott. That colder air will also include some flurries later tonight as temps drop down into the single digits. Chicago police officer who fatally shot a man has been relieved of duties. In a statement, Chicago police say the actions against the unnamed officer are due to the resulting investigation into the officer's shooting of 38-year-old Jose Nieves, who died of multiple gunshot wounds. On Monday, Chicago Police Superintendent Eddie Johnson said that shooting was the result of a verbal altercation, and the officer and subjects knew each other from a prior incident. Authorities continue investigating a shooting that killed 2 teen boys and wounded another woman on Chicago's west side. Police say a 16-year-old and 17-year-old were shot yesterday outside a home in the 3400 block of West Fulton. Oakland, California, about to have its first female chief of police. News media outlets in the Bay Area and here in Chicago name Ann Kirkpatrick as the new head of Oakland Police. She is the former chief of Spokane, Washington's police force, and most recently has been leading organizational development here for the Chicago Police. The Oakland PD went through a series of scandals and 3 police chiefs last year. Family and friends are mourning after a 10-year-old LaGrange girl died on New Year's Day skiing at a Michigan resort area. Delaney O'Connell was taking ski lessons at the Crystal Mountain Resort in Thompsonville when she lost control and hit a tree. The young victim pronounced dead at a Grand Rapids area hospital. The incident is under investigation. Emergency workers say she was wearing a helmet. And Chicago has lost the dubious distinction being the worst city in the country for bed bugs. Pest control company Orkin's survey shows that after 4 years at the top of the list, Chicago is now third. College hoops in the MAC. Miami over Northern Illinois, 69-67. The news service of LifeLock. Grabbing coffee or breakfast? If you swipe your card, you leave a trail of digital information thieves can use to steal your identity. Ever hear of LifeLock? Their U.S.-based team of specialists help resolve identity theft problems. Go to LifeLock.com now. Use promo code RISK to save 10%. 7:04 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
You need to understand that the way you build wealth is you do not use the evening news or CNN or Fox to set the tone of your emotions around your investing.
The Dave Ramsey Show.
If you're thinking of changing your investing patterns because you're watching the news, you need to turn off the news. You are in charge of your destiny.
Dave Ramsey. Weeknights starting at 7. Presented by Wintrust Community Bank on AM 560. The Answer.
In 2012, Barack Obama won the presidency because his campaign used the web in a very smart, effective way. In 2016, Donald Trump showed he could win by using the web in a different, but just as effective way. There are many ways that your business can profit by using the latest proven web techniques. AmericanEagle.com can show you how your organization can succeed beyond your wildest dreams by using all of the latest, most effective online web technologies available. AmericanEagle.com has over 20 years of website development experience and thousands of happy customers to back it up.
No one matches AmericanEagle.com's ability to understand the online solutions your organization needs to be the leader in your industry. Design, development, apps, mobile, hosting, strategy, and more. AmericanEagle.com has done it all for all kinds of organizations in all kinds of industries. Call AmericanEagle.com at 773-NETWORK. They'll listen to you and come up with your winning solution. The number again, 773-NETWORK. Visit them online at AmericanEagle.com, the only name you need to know for website development.
Do you think identity theft is only when someone adds charges to your credit card? It's actually when someone pretends to be you, to open new accounts in your name or any number of bad things. LifeLock can help. We use proprietary technology to alert you to a huge range of identity threats. And if you have a problem, we have a team of U.S.-based specialists who will work to fix it. No one can prevent all identity theft or monitor all transactions at all businesses. Membership starts at $9.99 a month, plus applicable taxes. Go to LifeLock.com and use promo code NEWS to get 10% off.
How do you become America's best-selling brand? Test drive a Ford Escape and find out. With available EcoBoost power and a host of class-exclusive features designed to make life better. Compare Ford Escape next to a Toyota RAV4 or Honda CR-V, and the reasons start to stack up. The 2017 Escape. That's Ford. And that's how you become America's best-selling brand. Sales claim based on 2016 calendar year sales.
It is 7:07, and let's get an update on the roads this morning. In our AM 560 traffic center, here is Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. South Suburbs 394 is closed southbound between Steger Road and Richton Road due to a crash just south of Steger. So all southbound traffic's forced onto Steger. Northbound traffic moves along pretty well. South side of Chicago, State Street remains blocked off. 101st and 103rd due to a house fire. Edens Expressway, heavy Foster to the junction, 20 minutes. Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 23. Kennedy, 24 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, outbound 22. The Eisenhower, 35 minutes. Thorndale to the post office, outbound just 30. Stevenson, delay starting past the Ryan, 40 minutes. 355 to Lakeshore Drive, it's fine outbound. Ryan, 23 minutes. 95th to downtown. North on Tri-State, heavy Plainfield Road to the Hinsdale Oasis, and from the Reagan all the way to the Eisenhower. The other tollways are good. Traffic answers when you need them most. Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the AirComfort.com Weather Center. The latest with meteorologist Kevin Snyder.
A cold wave today into Sunday. It will be breezy today with intervals of clouds and sunshine. High 18, rather cloudy and very cold for tonight with a low of just 8. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
10 at O'Hare, 12 along the lakefront, 13 at Midway. Your next news update is at 7:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Tasty Catering. Stop by and try their food before planning your awesome corporate event menu. Visit tastycatering.com.
Good morning. Welcome to your Wednesday morning briefing. Here's what you need to know to start your day.
After more than a dozen years at Fox News, I have decided to pursue a new challenge.
Now, Ford just announced it's moving all of its small car production to Mexico also. Not good. Not good.
And that's why we're making this decision to invest here in the U.S. and in our plant here in Michigan.
The only way we're going to work with him is if he moves completely in our direction and abandons his Republican colleagues.
So I want to say to the American people, we hear you. We will do right by you, and we will deliver.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. The question is this. Do you think that some Americans should be microchipped for their own safety? 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line, 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line. It's a little bit more complicated, perhaps, than may sound at first blush. There's legislation that has passed the House and Senate, known as Kevin and Avante's Law, which would allow the U.S. Attorney General to award grants to law enforcement for the creation and operation of locative tracking technology programs.
The program's mission is to find individuals with forms of dementia or children with developmental disabilities who have wandered from safe environments. This has been advanced by the Autism Safety Coalition, among other organizations.
The National Center for Missing and Exploited Children.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, 800,000 children are reporting missing every year.
The bill specifically mentions Alzheimer's, the persons with Alzheimer's, autism, and as you said, you've got the missing children, but the focus is forms of dementia and children with developmental disabilities who will wander from safe environments. That's the focus, so you don't have accidents.
Oh, and if you fall down, who's going to pick you up? Sorry. That was a
back to that
reference
London
to yesterday's
town.
story where they'll charge you if you're elderly and you fall down. You have to pay up to be picked up.
26 pounds to get picked up.
To get back up on your feet again there, huh?
Who can afford to fall down at these prices? So
I love this legislation or proposed legislation.
You do?
I mean, before I had kids, I thought it was a horrible idea to microchip people because the government knows where you are at all times.
No, I want to be clear. This is microchipping children, not lobotomizing them.
No, I know.
Oh,
I know.
okay.
But just a little shot in the arm, just like you do to your pets. We microchip our pets. Really, I mean,
it's an interesting comparison.
Well, it is so that you could find if your pet is recovered at one of the shelters. They do the chip scan. They know your name, phone number. They call you right away. It's a great system. And until I had kids, I thought it was a bad idea. But now that I have children and they're getting up into the teenage years and they wander off. I mean, we were in Mexico. My son just was playing Pokemon Go and just kept walking and walking and walking and walking. But if I had him microchipped, I could have got a satellite signal and honed in on where he is.
Maybe even
to
better.
find him.
Now I'm
and
gonna
rope him back in because I thought he was joining a cartel.
Exactly. It can happen that fast.
Come back. Hola, mamita, masita.
Let me suggest that something perhaps you hadn't considered, that human beings are different than animals.
Well,
your son is not your dog. I don't know who you love more or place more emphasis on.
It's a daily decision.
No, I know it's tough.
Because Bunky sometimes he's up there, man.
I can imagine.
Love that little thing.
I can imagine. So, and maybe, I mean, forget microchipping then. I mean, if it's about discipline, how about those Running Man collars? And if he just gets outside of a certain radius.
Yeah, shot collar.
No, Running Man, the movie Running Man, your head blows off. That's
a little.
That'll
extreme.
institute discipline.
I'd like to microchip you to see where you are at all times.
Well,
on my phone, there's an app for that.
Yeah, so
Find Dan Proft.
Here's the concern, as some of you may already be contemplating.
Can't have affairs on your wives?
No, the program really provides no restriction on the legislation, I should say, provides really no restriction on the tracking program's inclusion of other individuals. This is the old camel getting his nose under the tent. And when the camel's the government, you don't want him in the tent. So the Attorney General, according to this legislation, would require the Attorney General would be required to work with the Secretary of Health and Human Services, unnamed health organizations, to establish quote-unquote best practices for the use of tracking devices. But, when it starts with adults with dementia or children with autism, it has a tendency to expand to other maladies, real or questionable. So, I mean, we've seen this. Think about medical marijuana. Medical marijuana is just...
It's just medical marijuana.
Just medical marijuana for glaucoma and a short list of maladies for which there's evidence that marijuana reduces pain, can be a palliative option for some. And now, because it's really about the business and it's about the money and it's about the tax revenue for the government. Now, in Illinois, just to use Illinois as an example, I mean, the list is as long as my arm of conditions that qualify for accessing medical marijuana.
Oh, that's right.
And so,
panic attacks.
And so Louis Gohmert, representative from Texas, made that point. He's also a lawyer. He said in opposition to this bill, while the initiative may have noble intentions, quote-unquote, small and temporary programs in the name of safety and security often evolve into permanent and large bureaucracies that infringe upon the American people's freedom. A safety program exists for people with Alzheimer's, autism, and other mental health issues. So the fix, we are told, is to have Department of Justice start a tracking program so we can use some device or method to track these individuals. Ooh,
I mean, what about, as Tyler Cohen opines on the topic at marginalrevolution.com, his blog, which is very good. He said, well, even the dislike of authority is considered a mental disorder known as oppositional defiant disorder. Could that warrant microchipping in the future? How long before Americans are told that mass microchipping is necessary so law enforcement and government can better protect them as a general matter, regardless of the existence of any malady, or infirmity, like on the level of dementia or some forms of autism? So very Big Brother-ish. And I mean, you think, this is sci-fi stuff. It could never happen. It's being proposed, and it's being proposed by people who are well-intentioned, but are not thinking about the unintended consequences, are not thinking about the end to this path.
And these aren't
they
wrist
suggest
bracelets.
we embark upon.
They'd actually put a microchip in you.
Microchip.
Yep, just like your dogs.
Just like Bunky.
And the cats.
Bunky's Law.
Bunky's Law.
Mike in Yorkville.
Yeah, I think this is probably the dumbest thing I've ever heard. The technology already exists out there to do this on your own. So instead of spending my damn money on it, spend your own and go get it yourself. And why are we putting the government into this business? I don't understand it.
What about the people who can't afford it, Mike, to microchip their children? Like Amy, who needs assistance.
Are you kidding me? Parents will be all over this.
The market.
Yeah.
It'll get cheaper.
You know what you
Thanks
do
for
it
the call, Mike.
You do it while they're sleeping, and then they just feel something like, oh, that was just a spider that bit you.
Exactly.
Crawl out of the room. They'll never know you microchipped them.
No.
I'm not kidding you. Parents would eat this up. This is could be $1 billion business.
It's an Orwellian utopia we're on the cusp of. It's so exciting. Ralph and Rantoul.
Yeah, good morning. Hey, as far as the chipping, in the old days, they used to call that supervision when you had people that required some sort of adult supervision, either demented or children who aren't responsible for themselves. And by the way, Dan, the technology has advanced. In the old days, it was the collar that blew your head up. Last year's movie Kingsman, now Samuel L. Jackson was able to explode people's heads remotely with a little chip implanted just behind one of their ears.
Yeah, that's right.
So,
that's a good point, Ralph.
Yeah.
And I did see the Kingsman, but I didn't really appreciate it. I found it kind of derivative, and I'm a Colin Firth fan.
Documentary.
Thanks for the call, Ralph.
I mean, think about it. 700 kids a day, on average, are kidnapped. And if your child was chipped, you would know exactly where they were. There's no need for an Amber Alert because the police would know right away how to find your child.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's like...
Or even people, like adults that get kidnapped.
Yeah, steal, like cars.
Stacey Peterson, we'd know where she is if she was chipped.
Like cars. And so, it's like OnStar for your kid.
Right.
In their head. Yeah, right.
I'm telling you, this could be $1 billion business.
Uh-huh. All we have to do is surrender our freedom. Seems like a good deal.
Well, when they're 18, take the chip out of them.
Joe in Burbank.
Yeah, no, never. Any Christian, any good Christian out there, do not take that chip. It's the mark of the beast. Look at Revelation 13:16. I am serious, man. It says that you'll either accept it in your forehead or you'll accept it into your right hand. It's the mark of the beast. Don't take it. You'll eternally damn your soul if you take that chip.
Thanks for the call, Joe. George and Moni.
Hey, Dan. Hey, Amy. How about going the other way with it? Let's microchip anybody that feeds off my tax dollars. You're working for the state. You're anybody. Well, that way we'll know where you're at, why you're not at work,
Yeah, while you're all congregating around the same picnic table. Yeah, sorry. Thanks for the call, George. Phil on I-53.
Good morning. Amy, when you accidentally lose your children, as you say, will Dan be your attorney explaining things to DCFS?
Sometimes kids run off.
Thanks for the call, Phil.
Phil clearly doesn't have children.
Sometimes they run off and join a cartel. You can't turn your head for 5 minutes. Mark in Plainfield.
Yeah, Amy, didn't your former partner teach you anything? Every day he warned us it's just a matter of time before they chip us all up. And I, for one, oppose this for the same reason I told my wife to return the Fitbit. I do not want every step I make monitored.
Every step you make, every breath you take, we'll be watching you.
But there are surveillance cameras everywhere, too. But there's certain spots where you don't see everything.
Yeah,
and that's why if you had a chip and your child was kidnapped, or what if your friend, what if your, anybody in your family was kidnapped?
Yeah.
Doesn't necessarily have to be a child. You could find them with this chipping device.
Oh, it's the best of all possible worlds there, Dr. Pangloss. By the way, speaking of surveillance cameras, that's something I'd like to do too. Since government is so hep on surveillance cameras, how about we put surveillance cameras in City Hall, in the General Assembly, in their offices? How about we monitor them like they want to monitor red lights?
We're monitored everywhere here at the station.
Yeah, but
the hallways, but we're not.
This is a condition of employment. So it's a condition of public office. I want to have video cameras that detail Tiny Dancer's every moves in every meeting. What about that? In the era of transparency, they like it in one direction. I think it should go in both directions.
If you're talking about it, Dan and Amy are talking about it. It's Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Cold conditions, a lot different than yesterday. You're going to have to bundle up, that's for sure. A high of 18 degrees, but if you factor in the wind chill, it's about 0 to 1 degree out there. Tonight, a low of 8. And then tomorrow, not much better, folks. Mostly cloudy, bitterly cold, a high of 15. Let's get those travel times. Here's Jim Telemonte.
Thanks, Amy and Dan. 394 southbound remains closed between Steger Road and Richton Road due to a crash. Southbound 394 traffic is forced onto Steger. Edens Expressway. Inbound, it's 19 minutes Lake Cook to Montrose. Outbound 24. The Kennedy, 25 minutes. O'Hare to downtown. Outbound 22. The Eisenhower. It's 33 minutes. Thorndale to the post office. Outbound 30. Stevenson, 38 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. The outbound side is clear. Ryan, 23 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57, Bishop Ford, all good. Same goes for Lakeshore Drive. Northbound Tri-State, a little heavy. Plainfield Road to the Hinsdale Oasis, and from the Reagan Tollway to the Eisenhower. The other tollways are fine. I'm Jim Talamonte, AM 560 Traffic Center.
Asavart Technology Corporation is seeking an application software developer for their Chicago location to program custom web and mobile apps. Interested applicants will have a master's or foreign academic equivalent in computer science, information technology, engineering, or software engineering with an understanding of SDLC, ASP.NET, C#, NVC, Android and iOS, Objective-C or Swift. Will also use Visual Studio, Android Studio, Xcode, EC2, and Sitefinity CMS. A Sitefinity certification is required. Candidates should send their written resumes to Mike Fuss, 55 East Jackson, Suite 2100, Chicago, Illinois 60604.
Here's David Kolsak, president of Turnkey IT, on the success of businesses that use Turnkey.
Our customers are successful because they use us. They become more successful, I think, if they rely on us. I think our best customers are the ones that bring to us any problems that they have and their vision. We're not only just your IT firm, we can become part of your business, and if you rely on us, you're going to see results. If you just use us for the 10% that is just computer support, you're not going to get what you really can get, because if you dig deep and you rely on us and truly trust us to be your IT department, we can take your business places that you've never seen before. And, do all of our customers do that? No, but they should.
Go all in for 2017. With Turnkey's All In, you get the works. Not only unlimited help desk and on-site support, disaster recovery, and virus protection, but new hardware across your entire network, installed and implemented seamlessly every 4 years. Leave the technical stuff to the pros so you can focus on the important things. Visit turnkey.pro today.
Here's microbiologist Dr. Kim O'Neill talking about balance of nature.
Scientific research has shown that many cancers and lifestyle diseases can be prevented with a diet rich in fruits and vegetables. This prevention comes from the phytochemicals in the plants. They fight against oxidants that damage the cell's DNA, causing mutations that lead to disease. I don't take any supplementation, but I take Balance of Nature because I know, I've seen it in my lab, and I know that it works. I've seen the immune response increase, I've seen your DNA repair capacity increase, and I've seen DNA protection. And that, to me, as a scientist, rings so true, and it's only natural.
Call now to find out how to get your free month's supply of Balance of Nature. Call 800-2468-751. That's 800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code CHICAGO.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, we're talking about microchipping, this law, Avante's law, microchipping individuals that suffer from dementia, as well as children with developmental disabilities like autism, got a pointed email. Avante's law is desperately needed. Tracking devices are used in some communities today and save the lives of those suffering with autism. Children are not microchipped. They wear bracelets. Okay, well, that's not what we're talking about here. According to Autism Speaks, roughly half of, or 49% of children with ASD attempt to elope from a safe environment, a rate nearly 4 times higher than their unaffected siblings. In 2009, 2010, 2011, accidental drowning occurred for 91%.
Ooh.
Total U.S. deaths reported in children with ASD, ages 14 and younger, subsequent to wandering. More than 1/3 of ASD children who wander are never or rarely able to communicate their name, address, or phone number. 2 in 3 parents of wanderers report their missing children had a quote-unquote close call with a traffic injury.
Ooh.
Do your homework next time, Dan. Well, I did my homework on it. And those details, those statistics that this emailer relates are concerning. And I'm not suggesting that there isn't a way to address this, or there shouldn't be. But I am suggesting the way the law is written is too open-ended, as I described it, and takes us down the dangerous path that I was illuminating, the obvious dangerous path. It's open-ended. So I appreciate the response and the concern. I share a concern for people's safety who are otherwise not able to provide for their own safety.
Yeah, we all do.
But the ends don't justify the means. This is where we get into trouble sometimes. Your good intentions do not necessarily translate into good law. The language is very specific. The concerns about government overreach are very real, and there are myriad examples along the lines that we're discussing here in the context of this microchipping. And, to confer that kind of power to government, not just with the microchipping itself, but the ability to expand the list of conditions, quote unquote, that could be eligible for this microchipping. That's a dangerous business, and it requires well-crafted and thoughtful reflection on that kind of power concentrated in the hands of the state. It's just that simple. This is not about who cares about children with autism or who cares about seniors with dementia more. That's the false narrative of those that are always seeking to expand the power of the government. That's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about, okay, I understand the concern. Is this something that can be done on an individual basis privately? Is there a better way than something as invasive as a microchip? I'm open-minded on the topic.
Well, bracelets can always be cut off.
Should this be
microchip?
Should this be scaled to the state? The state is a blunt instrument. Remember, it is a meat axe, not a scalpel. So, I just would suggest some pause before kind of conferring this power, because you're trying to do something good and you're not contemplating the unintended consequences of that kind of discretion with the political ruling class. I mean, seriously, that this does not strike you as Orwellian, or certainly opening the door to Orwellian outcomes?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's the sheer definition of big government and all-time surveillance, that the government would know where you are. But when you need the government and when you need help to find a loved one, then I'm sometimes you have to give up some of your freedoms for security. And I never felt this way until I had kids. Never. But until you see other people who've had children kidnapped, I mean, it's just heart-wrenching that you can't find them in this day and age.
When examining any public policy, it is imperative that people contemplate the notion and make a decision about this. Do the ends justify the means? Or, as Samuel Johnson observed, is the road to hell paved with good intentions? Do the ends justify the means? The answer is no. So consider the means and the ends, not just the ends.
This is the morning show more Chicago radio listeners are choosing This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
How do you become America's best-selling brand? Test drive a Ford Escape and find out. With available EcoBoost power and a host of class-exclusive features designed to make life better. Compare Ford Escape next to a Toyota RAV4 or Honda CR-V, and the reasons start to stack up. The 2017 Escape. That's Ford. And that's how you become America's best-selling brand. Sales claim based on 2016 calendar year sales.
Attention shoppers, modern life deserves a modern way to pay. Say hello to MasterPass, the simple, secure way to pay from MasterCard. Not a fan of filling out shopping forms over and over again? MasterPass. Looking for a simple and secure way to buy all of your holiday gifts? MasterPass. Set it up once and you're free to shop online, in-app, or in your favorite stores. MasterPass. So next time, don't just buy it, MasterPass it. Accept it at select merchants.
No more excuses, gentlemen. It's a new year, and you need to stop putting things off, especially when it comes to taking care of your health. Dan Proft here. I know we all hate going to the doctor. That's why Low T Center makes it quick and easy to get your testosterone levels checked. You walk in, take a simple blood test, and with the convenience of their on-site lab, you'll know your results in about 20 minutes. So if you're drinking coffee or energy drinks just to get through the day, or if you always feel like you need a nap, you may have low T. Low T levels can make you feel tired and grumpy, raise your cholesterol, and even cause weight gain. I personally recommend going to my friends at Low T Center. They accept most health insurance. They're in most health insurance networks and have flexible hours, including Saturdays. So don't hesitate to find out what your number is this new year. I'm sure glad I did. Call my friends at Low T Center and tell them Dan Proft sent you. That's me. The number is 630-409-4305. Again, 630-409-4305. Call Low T Center at 630-409-4305 or visit them online at lowtcenter.com.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer, Trump threatens General Motors with a big border tax and their stock prices fell.
And Ford decides for Michigan over Mexico. We'll discuss with Steve Moore at 7:37.
But first, into the newsroom we go. Here's Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, we have clear skies this morning. 14 degrees, but a wind chill of -10 right now as winds continue to gust at about 17 miles an hour out of the west. Sentencing portion of Dylan Roof's death penalty trial begins today in a South Carolina courtroom. Roof was convicted last month on federal hate crime charges in the murders of 9 at the historically black Emmanuel AME Church in Charleston. President Barack Obama goes to the Capitol today. He'll give congressional Democrats advice on how to try and combat the Republican drive to dismantle his health insurance overhaul. Vice President-elect Mike Pence, on the other hand, will be meeting with GOP lawmakers on how to speed up the dismantling. Forecasters say a winter storm will blanket much of the South with a wintry mix of rain, sleet, and snow from Texas all the way to the Carolinas. Even parts of the deep South are bracing for snow by Thursday night, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama. Colder air returning to the Chicagoland area. National Weather Service says highs will reach 20 today, but wind chills will stay in the negative digits. The family of a teen shot and killed by a DuPage County Sheriff's deputy in Villa Park believes that shooting was unjustified. An attorney for the teen's family claims 17-year-old Trevon Johnson was unarmed. State police continue to investigate that incident. Chicago Alderman Amaya Pawar running for governor of Illinois. The Northside Democrat confirming yesterday he will challenge Republican Governor Bruce Rauner in 2018. College hoops in the MAC last night. Miami over Northern Illinois, 69-67. The news, a service of Connect Better. When you connect better, everything comes together. Join the more than 3 million people who use GoToMeeting every month to connect with their team. Try it free at GoToMeeting.com. 7:34, a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
The Mike Gallagher Show.
Today's Democratic Party, the party that thinks it's unreasonable to expect that a voter show their ID in order to cast a ballot. It's just blatant. They are just on the side. I don't know how else you describe it. If you're a Democrat and you resent this accusation, please call me. When I say Democrats are on the side of lawlessness, tell me where I'm wrong.
The Mike Gallagher Show. Weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
I'm Dan Proft.
And I'm Amy Jacobson.
And we want to say thanks to each and every one of you who helped us to reach our goal of providing food for a year and water for life for 2,000 kids and counting in Haiti and Guatemala.
Your generosity means that these children will have a shot at living a happy and healthy life despite the enormous challenges they face.
And just because the Christmas season is over and we're starting a new year, that doesn't mean the need has gone away. You can still make a difference in the life of a child by making a $50 donation to Food for the Poor. Food for the Poor is one of America's largest and most trusted charities. Since 1982, they've been helping the poorest of the poor by directing resources directly to those in the greatest need.
Just call 855-880-3663. That's 855-880-FOOD, or go to 560theanswer.com, keyword food.
And thanks to the many business benefactors who supported this campaign, when you hear their ads on the radio station this year, we'd ask that you support their businesses as a way of thanking them for their generosity.
Life can get a little hectic, so good sleep really matters. With a Beautyrest Silver mattress, you'll wake up refreshed and ready to go. Embrace the day ahead. Get the sleep you deserve. Get Beautyrest Silver.
My name is David Hochberg, Vice President of Lending at Pearl Mortgage. If you're looking to purchase a new home or refinance your existing home, give me a call. Stacy wanted to contact a realtor before purchasing a home in Plainfield. Bad move. Not getting pre-qualified by me before talking with the realtor is like sunbathing at the equator without suntan lotion. I pre-qualified Stacy to purchase a home and introduced her to Ron Wexler, my preferred Plainfield realtor. If you're purchasing a home, call me first. I'll pre-qualify you for free and introduce you to my experienced team of preferred realtors who will help you locate the perfect home. My team of real estate experts will always look out for your financial best interest. If you're buying a home, give me a call now at 312-751-1333 or visit am560david.com. I've helped thousands of AM 560 listeners, but I can't help if you don't call 312-751-1333 or visit am560david.com. Pearl Mortgage and Equal Housing Lender, Illinois Residential Mortgage License 4358, RMLA, NMLS 19186.
7:37. Let's get a check of the roads in the AM 560 Traffic Center with Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. On Chicago's South Side, state remains closed between 101st and 103rd after a major house fire. Edens Expressway is 20 minutes. Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 24. The Kennedy running 25 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, outbound 24 minutes. The delay Lawrence to Sayre. Eisenhower 35 minutes. Thorndale to the Loop, outbound 31. Stevenson 39 minutes. 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 34. Ryan 22 minutes. 95th to downtown. Northbound Tri-State heavy from the Reagan Tollway to the Eisenhower. Veterans Memorial slow 63rd to the Reagan Tollway. And traffic as a service of Staples. Is your New Year's resolution to get new customers in the door? Staples Print and Marketing Services help you promote your business with low prices on presentations, signs, pens, mugs, and more. Right now, you can get 15% off custom signs and banners. Ends 3/24. See an associate for details. Staples, make more happen. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560 The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center. Windy today, clouds and sunshine, high of 18. Cloudy and cold overnight, low of 8 above, and a high only of 15 tomorrow. 10 above at O'Hare. Next news at 8. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Radio Garden Sense, a show bringing your property's gardening needs alive. Radio Garden Sense, Sunday mornings at 11 on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy, and boy, oh boy, the victories keep coming for Trump before the inauguration on the key metric, jobs. You had U.S. Steel say 10,000 new U.S. jobs. You had IBM say 50,000 new U.S. jobs over the next several years. And then you had Mark Fields, the CEO of Ford Motor Company, say that upon further review, that electric car plant we were going to build in Mexico, we're going to go ahead and invest in Michigan instead.
Well, when we make decisions like this as a company, we look at, first we do what's right for our business. This makes sense for our business. And we look at all factors, including what we view as a more positive U.S. manufacturing business environment under President-elect Trump. And it's literally a vote of confidence around some of the pro-growth policies that he has been outlining, and that's why we're making this decision to invest here in the U.S. and in our plant here in Michigan.
Well, but timing's everything, and that comment came hours after Trump tweeted about General Motors, because he tweeted General Motors is sending Mexican-made model of Chevy Cruze to the U.S. car dealers tax-free across the border. Make it USA or pay big border tax! Exclamation point.
Yeah.
And then their stocks dropped, and I don't think that's fair to stockholders, and that went back up. But still, I mean, it was right after that tweet, then all of a sudden, Ford Motor Company's coming forward saying, we're going to keep that plant in Michigan rather than Mexico.
I think they had made the decision before the tweet about GM, but I think what Trump understands about much of corporate America is the same thing that he understands, and we should understand, all of us, about much of the political class, which is this. The bad news is they're cowards, and the good news is they're cowards. And a little bit of leadership builds a lot of consensus. That can be leadership in a good direction. It can be leadership in a bad direction. But understand, most of these people, even CEOs of Fortune 100 companies, when it comes to government, they're rent seekers, thus they're followers. But for more on this, perhaps a differing perspective, we're pleased to be joined again by Heritage Foundation Chief Economist and Trump Economic Advisor Steve Moore. Steve, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Hi, guys. Happy New Year.
So, Happy New Year. So, a nice string, U.S. Steel, IBM, Ford, for Trump, Carrier, I guess, if you want to include them as well. And so a good note of optimism and a look ahead to making the economic climate more favorable in the country, structural policies mentioned by Mark Fields, the CEO of Ford. But what about that notion that, basically Trump recognizes he can push these guys around and he's going to do so?
But it didn't take much pushing either, did it?
No, it didn't.
Look, I like using the carrot of lower taxes, less regulation, a more pro-business atmosphere in Washington. That certainly is a reason why companies should and would invest here in the United States, whether it's Michigan or Illinois or Ohio or California. I'm not enthralled with the idea of using the billy club of government to browbeat them into staying in the country. I mean, but I think he's going to use the former rather than the latter for the most part. I mean, I think he is going to come in and slash taxes. I think we're going to get rid of a lot of these regulations that have sent companies to Mexico and China and other places. And if you do that, you make America a kind of free enterprise zone in the world. And guess what? Companies will come back. Investment will come back. That happened in the 80s, by the way, when Reagan cut tax rates and regulation. We saw just a flood of foreign capital pouring over the borders in the United States. And I think you could see that effect over the next year or two if Trump delivers on his promises. But, the threat of tariffs, I don't like that.
Well, Stephen, but before we talk about that, Donald Trump may seem a little hypocritical, at least he does to me, because his ties, suits, dress shirts, eyeglasses, and other accessories are made in places such as China, Bangladesh, Honduras, Vietnam, South Korea. So shouldn't he start with himself before he twists the arm of CEOs of major mortar corporations?
I mean, Amy, I'm only laughing because I was asked the exact same question yesterday on Fox News. Isn't he a little bit hypocritical? Look, he's a businessman, and he goes where the best deal is confined. And I think the goal of this administration is to make, America the best deal.
Well, is he going to start making his products in America? Don't you think he should?
I think he will. I think he will, if especially if those tax rates come down and those regulations come down. I mean, he knows more than anybody how to game the system, right, and how to play one country off of another. But he also knows that when you've got high costs of doing business in the United States, it does lead to the companies offshoring. I hate it, by the way. I don't want companies leaving the United States. I want them coming in here. And I guarantee you, if we put in place, the Larry Kudlow, Steve Moore, Arthur Laffer, Donald Trump, Mike Pence program, you're going to see, instead of companies leaving, you're going to see a lot of new investment in this country. And, as Donald Trump would say, we're going to get tired of winning.
Yeah, perhaps Trump is confused about that quote that's often misquoted from Emerson from his essay Self-Reliance. It's foolish consistency that's the hobgoblin of small minds, not consistency. So maybe you just want, it's like kind of, it's not money is the root of all evil, the love of money. I think it's not foolish to be consistent when it comes to market-oriented solutions. But when it comes to tax policy, let's just pick up there. You had Mike Enzi, Senator from Wyoming, move a resolution to repeal Obamacare yesterday. How soon are we going to see Paul Ryan consummate his promise to deliver for the American people when it comes to those structural tax reductions you just described? Is that going to be like, not first 100 days, but before the month is out?
Good question. I mean, I just think the sequencing of all this is still up in the air. I want to rush out of the gates on January 21st with a business tax cut that slashes those business tax rates and starts bringing this money back to the United States. We also have the repatriation, allowing companies with that $1 trillion or two overseas to bring it back to the United States at a 10% tax. And if you do that, I think you get instant results. And look, I think the economy is very fragile right now. And I think, they need to burst out of the gates. And there's something to be said, Trump has a honeymoon period, as every president does. And he's got to use that period to ram through as much of his pro-growth agenda as possible. So I don't want to wait, Dan. I want to get it done. By the way, there's this idea, we can't do health care reform and tax reform at the same time. Why not? You're saying you can't walk and chew gum at the same time?
Right.
Come on. Yes, we can. We can do both.
And on the issue of health care reform, now there's another debate within that debate, which is, should you repeal if there's going to be a delay for the replacement, or should you wait till you have repeal connected to replacement? What's your view?
That's a tough one, too. I mean, first of all, I think we're making this way too complicated. It's not that complicated. To rip the heart out of Obamacare and to bring prices of health care down, you just do a couple things right out of the gate. First of all, you get rid of what's called the mandated benefit. That's the thing that requirement that everybody has to get the same package of 30 or 35 health care services when you buy an insurance package. And that makes insurance really expensive because you can't kind of pick and choose what you want to be covered for. So get rid of the mandated benefit program. That's going to bring health costs down almost overnight. Get rid of the individual mandate, and then just give people a voucher instead of Medicaid. Just give low-income people a $5,000 or $6,000 voucher to go out and buy health insurance. They'll get a much better package that'll actually save them money rather than Medicaid, which doesn't improve health care outcomes at all. And what I don't want to see happen is people thrown off of their health insurance plans. You can't create havoc. You've got to keep stability in the market so that the last thing Republicans want is headlines, all these families are losing their health coverage. So do it in a smart, systematic way. Get rid of the worst parts of Obamacare first, and you can do it in a way. And the other feature of it that's so important is allowing people to buy health insurance across state lines. So if you live in Illinois, you could buy a package in Indiana or Iowa or Utah, and that substantially increases the amount of competition. And we know, as economists, right, Dan, that when you have more competition, that drives down prices.
Yep.
And improve services.
Yeah, because right now it's not affordable. I mean, look at Arizona. It's a 116% increase. And even Bill Clinton called it crazy, what's going on. But all my friends keep asking, well, when is this going to take place? How long is this transition period going to last? And will they be covered until there's something new?
Yeah, people are going to get covered. They're not going to lose their coverage. So anybody who's worried about that, there will be a transition from what we've got now to a new system that gives people way more choices, way more competition, and allows you to buy the insurance package that you want. And why can't we let the free enterprise system work in healthcare? It works in every other industry. I mean, the two industries we don't use free enterprise are education and healthcare, and those are the two industries were priced out of control, and you get lousy service.
Well, that's right. And so my real concern is about the lethargy of Congress. Shouldn't they be and have been ready to go on this? This is something that we've been debating for 7 years. So they should have the replacement, ready to unwrap and implement.
Yep, you're right. I'm not going to defend the Republicans on that one, Dan. And I think part of it is that a lot of them didn't expect to win.
Yeah,
a lot of them didn't think they would be in this position. But Paul Ryan has a comprehensive health insurance reform package that is ready to go. You get that through the Congress, and you've got something that is market-based rather than government-based and healthcare. And you're right. This was one of the. I believe that had not been for Obamacare's massive increases in prices, including the ones that Amy just mentioned in Arizona, Trump probably wouldn't have won the election. This was a referendum on getting rid of Obamacare, so Republicans better deliver that promise pretty quickly.
He is Steve Moore, chief economist at the Heritage Foundation and economic advisor to Donald Trump, president-elect. Steve, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Okay, guys, have a great week.
You too.
See you soon.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
Listen to Dan and Amy on your smartphone. Download the AM560 mobile app today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Coming up sometime in the show, Paul Ryan got dabbed. Do you know what that means, Dan? To get
I do,
dabbed?
because I'm down with the struggle with the kids.
Well, you're going to be struggling to stay warm today, that's for sure. Plenty of sunshine, but it's going to be windy and very cold. 10 degrees right now at O'Hare, going up to a high of 18. But you factor in the wind chill, it's about 1-2 degrees. Good times. And then tomorrow, mostly cloudy, bitterly cold again, a high of 15. Let's get those travel times to a man who's never bitter, always friendly, Jim Telemonte.
Well, good morning, Amy. And traffic's pretty friendly. Lots of people are still off, I'd say, enjoying vacation because the Edens, it's 19 minutes Lake Cook to Montrose. There are outbound delays between Devon and Willow, 29 minutes from Montrose to Lake Cook. Kennedy, just 27 minutes, O'Hare to downtown. A little heavier in the express lanes than the locals. Outbound, you've got a 9-minute delay Montrose to Harlem. The Eisenhower, 38 minutes. Thorndale to downtown, outbound 36. Stevenson, 43 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 5. Ryan, 22 minutes, 95th to downtown. Lakeshore Drive, all good. Northbound Tri-State, heavy at 290. Northbound Veterans Memorial, slow 63rd to the Reagan Tollway. The other tollways are fine. And Northwest Indiana's all clear. Jim Talamonte, AM 560 Traffic Center.
Raj Shah, host of Secure Retirement Radio.
I believe not only in protecting your retirement and making the growth going forward, but also having a tax-efficient retirement as well, because you want your retirement portfolios to generate an income stream that will last for your life, for your spouse's life, and if you have kids, that will pass on to the next generation as well.
Tune in for Secure Retirement Radio with Raj Shah, Sunday mornings at 7 here on AM 560, The Answer.
Dennis Prager here for the amazing Relief Factor, the natural solution for people struggling on and on with chronic pain like back, neck, shoulder, hip, knee, or general muscle aches and pains. My wife Sue and I are both very happy customers. I was skeptical at first, and I have never before endorsed a pain reliever. I do now. So if you're in pain, go to ReliefFactor.com. Check it all out at ReliefFactor.com.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies has thousands of success stories from people just like you. There is only one way you can find out for yourself what Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies will do for you, and that is try it. Yes, try it and receive your own success story. To help make this happen, Dr. Howard has put together an all-new health challenge that will absolutely allow you to find out for yourself what Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies will do for you. The new challenge will allow you to receive 2 months of free product. Yes, 2 months of free Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies. Call now for details, and who knows, you may be hearing your own success story on the radio. Call 1-800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code Chicago.
It's the most effective product that I've ever bought in my life. I should have ordered it 15 years ago.
Hey, do you need to sell your home right now? Has it been on the market so long your listing expired? Well, I know the man who will absolutely sell your home right now, and that's Saul Z and the Z team, and he needs homes right now all over the Chicagoland area, including the city. Now, Saul's database of thousands of buyers are looking for homes in the $250,000 to $750,000 range. Now, there's likely a buyer for you right now, but don't wait. On average, Saul sells a home every single day. No other agent sells your home quicker or for more money. He's so confident that he'll sell your home, he offers a 59-day guarantee. That's right. List your home with Saul. If it's not under contract within 59 days, Saul sells it for free without his commission. Again, 59 days or he'll sell it for free. And Saul needs homes to sell right now. So contact Saul Z today at callsaul.net. That's call SAUL.net, or dial 888-346-0666. That's 888-346-0666. and tell Saul that I sent you.
This is Dan Proft with 60 Seconds of Sanity. Forecasting the future is tricky business, as even the sabermetric Poindexters found out on November 8th, so I'll stick to wish casting for 2017. Since the left doesn't trust a Trump-led government and conservatives don't trust government, period, I wish for the bipartisan agreement Pauls are always clamoring on about to drastically reduce the size, scope, and expense of the federal Leviathan. I wish the governor of one of the adjacent Great Lakes states would colonize Illinois. I wish we would remember that smart is not a synonym for civilized. I wish the affluent would preach what they practice in the areas of family, education, work ethic, and personal responsibility. I wish Pope Francis would take his cues from the Word of God more so than the word of Leonardo DiCaprio. I wish more people would read Thomas Sowell and fewer would watch The View, The Chew, and the blathering Beltway magpies who have no clue. I wish those who claim to do everything in the name of the children actually did. I wish self-styled fiscal conservatives would learn that every issue is a moral issue and every law reflects someone's values. I wish for a return to the pre-post-truth era, and I wish you and yours a happy, healthy, and prosperous 2017.
Here's David Kolsak, president of Turnkey IT, on the success of businesses that use Turnkey.
You know, our customers are successful because they use us. They become more successful, I think, if they rely on us. I think our best customers are the ones that bring to us any problems that they have and their vision. We're not only just your IT firm, we can become part of your business, and if you rely on us, you're going to see results. If you just use us for the 10% that is just computer support, you're not going to get what you really can get, because if you dig deep and you rely on us and truly trust us to be your IT department, we can take your business places that you've never seen before. And, you know, do all of our customers do that? No, but they should.
Go all in for 2017. With Turnkey's All In, you get the works. Not only unlimited help desk and on-site support, disaster recovery, and virus protection, but new hardware across your entire network, installed and implemented seamlessly every 4 years. Leave the technical stuff to the pros, so you can focus on the important things. Visit turnkey.pro today.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest-growing, independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
I'm Gina Labus, President and CEO of Mid-States Glass and Metal and a customer of Signature Bank since 2011. As we expanded our business into all aspects of the glass and metal industry, we needed a bank who could grow along with us. That's when we met Mick O'Rourke, co-founder of Signature Bank. Mick and his team took the time to understand the ebbs and flows of our business. They worked with us to find a solution that would support our growth. Mid-States Glass and Metal is proud to work with Signature Bank because they support Chicagoland women-owned businesses like mine.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. Learn more about turning your business vision into reality. Visit signature-bank.com. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Are you worried how the election, global events, and the current economy might affect your retirement? Listen to Grow My Retirement, Saturdays at 2 with Bill Geiger, Chicago's retirement planning advisor. Bill helps you translate complex retirement issues into easy-to-understand steps to help you create a retirement income you can't outlive.
The important thing of this show is not when the next downturn is coming, but to have your portfolio and your retirement plan ready for it.
Grow My Retirement with Bill Geiger, Saturday at 2 p.m. on AM 560. The Answer.
Illinois deserves an honest analysis of the problems facing our state. Avoid the spin from the mainstream media and Springfield insiders by tuning in to Illinois Rising every Sunday at 3 p.m. AM 560's Dan Proft and the Illinois Policy Institute tackle the policy and political issues that matter most and discuss possible solutions. So if you're sick of the status quo, then be sure to listen to Illinois Rising this Sunday at 3 p.m. on AM 560. The Answer.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Pleased to be joined by acclaimed screenwriter and author Andrew Klavan. Talk about his new book, The Great Good Thing, which in part discusses how faith provides for freedom. That's at 8:08.
And at 8:38, one of my favorites, Fox Chief Congressional Correspondent Mike Emanuel will be here. But first, we're going to go into the newsroom and say hi again to Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, colder air returning to Chicago. A Chicago alderman says he's running for governor. WIND Chicago News Time is 8 o'clock.
Fox News Radio. I'm Dave Anthony. He hopes to save the health care law with his name on it. So President Obama goes to Capitol Hill in a few. Huddle up with Democrats. Fox's Rachel Sutherland is live at the Senate.
Dave, the president's meeting comes as House Republicans work on a plan that would phase out the Affordable Care Act over a period of years, while lawmakers work on a replacement. He's not the only VIP coming here today. Vice President-elect Mike Pence is set to meet with Republicans to strategize the undoing of Obamacare. Not all Republicans agree on how to do it. Kentucky Senator Rand Paul says the replacement bill should be in place before the law is repealed. Dave.
Rachel, a Long Island Railroad train full of commuters went off the rails about a half hour ago in New York City.
I'm watching a woman right now being carried out on the stretcher. She must have been in the first car.
He was a passenger. We're told 26 people were hurt in Brooklyn. Most of the injuries said to be minor. Can Dylan Roof convince a jury to spare his life? Now a convict in the Charleston, South Carolina church massacre. He's his own lawyer, returning to court this hour. Fox's Evan Brown is on the case live.
Yeah, Dave, he may not even try. Dylan Roof has already told the judge he won't be calling witnesses or offering any evidence of mitigating factors in the sentencing phase of this federal trial. Prosecutors, however, plan to recall survivors to the stand who will likely tell the jury about how they've managed following the 2015 attack at Emmanuel AME Church. Roof admits he targeted the black church to cause, in his terms, a race war, Dave.
Evan, there are protests outside a court in Tel Aviv, even fights where an Israeli soldier was convicted of manslaughter in a case that's divided the country. The sergeant was shot. He shot and killed an already wounded and an incapacitated Palestinian who had attacked another soldier in the West Bank. President-elect Trump has tweeted a thank you to Ford for scrapping a new plant in Mexico and creating 700 new jobs in America, adding, "This is just the beginning, much more to follow." This is Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
Mostly clear skies this morning, 14 degrees. West winds at 17 will give us a wind chill of 10 below at this hour, 8:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. A Chicago police officer was off duty when he fatally shot a man Monday and now has been relieved of his police powers. Chicago Police Department said late yesterday the action against the unnamed officer is due to the resulting investigation into the death of 38-year-old Jose Nieves, who died of multiple gunshot wounds. Authorities are investigating a shooting that killed 2 teen boys and wounded a woman on Chicago's west side. Police tell us the 16-year-old and 17-year-old were shot yesterday outside a home in the 3400 block of West Fulton. Family and friends mourning after a 10-year-old LaGrange girl died New Year's Day skiing in Michigan. Was an accident that claimed the life of Delaney O'Connell. She was taking a lesson at the Crystal Mountain Ski Resort in Thompsonville, wearing a helmet when she lost control and hit a tree. Chicago Alderman Amaya Powar running for governor of Illinois. The Northside Democrat confirming yesterday he will challenge Republican Governor Bruce Rauner in 2018. And one of the strongest voices for Democrats in Springfield will not be there when Democrats and Republicans return to the Capitol for the lame duck session next week. State Representative John Bradley says he will retire immediately from the General Assembly. Bradley's decision means he will not be there for the session. Bradley lost in November to Republican Dave Severin. Chicago sports. In the MAC last night, our Northern Illinois Huskies fell to Miami, 69-67. The news, a service of the Foundation for a Better Life. She didn't just visit the sick and poor, she moved in because they needed help. Mother Teresa couldn't do it all, but gave her all. Compassion, pass it on. From the Foundation for a Better Life at values.com. 8:03, time for the AM 560 Business Beat. From the Fox Business Network and a service of Turnkey.pro, here's Jenny Casola.
From the Fox Business Network, ExxonMobil has granted former Chief Executive Rex Tillerson a retirement package worth $180 million. However, if Tillerson is confirmed as President-elect Trump's nominee for Secretary of State, he will transfer the value of 2 million shares into a trust. That trust would be prohibited from investing in Exxon. Amazon says it delivered a record number of items to sellers last year, more than 2 billion. The items shipped in the holiday season increased 50%. Imagine being able to call out to a voice assistant and adjust the temperature on your oven or turn off your dryer. That day is almost here. Whirlpool has partnered with Amazon to create voice-controlled appliances. Those smart appliances will be Alexa-enabled. The Dow closed up 119 yesterday to 19,881. With the Fox Business Report, I'm Jenny Cosola.
It is 8:05. Time to check the climate of your business with aircomfort.com, providing the right climate for business since 1935. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Celebrate the new year with a change. Stamp your passport to paradise. Escape Chicago and join Dan Proft, Amy Jacobson, and Joe Walsh in Punta Cana at the Secrets Cap Cana Resort and Spa. It's an all-inclusive, all-suites, adults-only resort located in beautiful, sunny Punta Cana. Time is running out to book your trip through Apple Vacations. Don't get left out in the cold this year. Visit 560theanswer.com and search for the keyword passport.
Do you think identity theft is only when someone adds charges to your credit card? It's actually when someone pretends to be you to open new accounts in your name or any number of bad things. LifeLock can help. We use proprietary technology to alert you to a huge range of identity threats. And if you have a problem, we have a team of U.S.-based specialists who will work to fix it. No one can prevent all identity theft or monitor all transactions at all businesses. Membership starts at $9.99 a month, plus applicable taxes. Go to LifeLock.com and use promo code NEWS to get 10% off.
How do you become America's best-selling brand? Test drive a Ford Escape and find out. With available EcoBoost power and a host of class-exclusive features designed to make life better. Compare Ford Escape next to a Toyota RAV4 or Honda CR-V, and the reasons start to stack up. The 2017 Escape. That's Ford. And that's how you become America's best-selling brand. Sales claim based on 2016 calendar year sales.
8:06. Let's check the roads in our AM 560 traffic center. We get the latest with our Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. It's getting a little heavier on the inbound Kennedy now. Slow Pulaski to the Burn Circle. 31 minutes O'Hare to downtown. 21 from Montrose. 25 on the Express. The locals are quicker. Outbound, it's 32 minutes to O'Hare. The delay is Montrose to Harlem. There's a report of a medical emergency on the left side. Edens is 19 minutes, Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 23. The Eisenhower, 46 minutes, Thorndale to downtown, 31 from Manheim, outbound 36 to Thorndale. Stevenson, 43 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 34. Ryan, 25 minutes, 95th to downtown, much better in the locals. The express lanes are jammed from 43rd to Stevenson. Lakeshore Drive, southbound a little heavy, Belmont to Chicago Avenue. North on Tri-States, though, Ogden to 31st, and from the Reagan Tollway to the Eisenhower. Veterans Memorial, slow southbound North Avenue to Butterfield, northbound Maple to the Reagan Tollway. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center. Here is our meteorologist, Kevin Snyder.
Cold wave into Sunday. Clouds and sun today. Breezy with a high 18. Then for tonight, cloudy and cold with a low of just 8. Wind chill values as low as 0 to 10 below 0. For tomorrow, mostly cloudy and still bitterly cold with a high of 15. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
Clear skies, 10 degrees at O'Hare, 13 along the lakefront, and 14 at Midway. Your next news update is at 8:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by the Ayn Rand Institute and the Yaron Brook Show. Heard Saturday afternoons at 4 here on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning. Welcome to your Wednesday morning briefing. Here's what you need to know to start your day.
After more than a dozen years at Fox News, I have decided to pursue a new challenge.
Now, Ford just announced it's moving all of its small car production to Mexico also. Not good. Not good.
And that's why we're making this decision to invest here in the U.S. and in our plant here in Michigan.
The only way we're going to work with him is if he moves completely in our direction and abandons his Republican colleagues.
So I want to say to the American people, we hear you. We will do right by you, and we will deliver.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. So, Amy, our next guest, this is really a pleasure. He is an accomplished screenwriter, a mystery novelist. That many of his novels have been turned into movies. for which he was the screenwriter, most notably, at least in my humble opinion, True Crime, which Clint Eastwood directed. Yep. Andrew Klavan wrote a novel of the same title upon which that movie was based. And he had an interesting op-ed over the holidays that is a forerunner to his forthcoming book, The Great Good Thing, A Secular Jew Comes to Faith in Christ. Take a load of that. And remember that you're talking about a Hollywood screenwriter, a novelist on top of it. In it, he writes, in this op-ed in the Wall Street Journal, that he talks about the materialist spell. Materialism is a fine idea, writes Klavan, but what's it made of? An idea is neither the words that expresses it nor the brainwork that conceives it. They're only the vehicles that transport the immaterial thought into the material world. So it is with the human spirit. And it calls to mind what G.K. Chesterton wrote. It reminded me, reading his op-ed and looking forward to his book, which I have not gotten to yet. But in The Everlasting Man, G.K. Chesterton wrote about the fall of Carthage. And Chesterton wrote, and this the Punic power of the era. It may sound fanciful to say that men we meet at tea tables or talk to at garden parties are secretly worshippers of Baal or Moloch. But this sort of commercial mind has its own cosmic vision, and it is the vision of Carthage. It has in it the brutal blunder that was the ruin of Carthage. The Punic power fell because there is in this materialism a mad indifference to real thought. By disbelieving in the soul, it comes to disbelieving in the mind. And, of course, this ends with, as Chesterton went on, Carthage fell because she was faithful to her own philosophy and had followed it out to its logical conclusion, her own vision of the universe. Moloch had eaten his children, Moloch, the Canaanite god. Biblical reference, of course. And I wonder if that's not what we're doing at present in our pursuit of materialism as the order of the day, secular humanism as the governing ideology. And I wonder if that's what Andrew Klavan is getting to. And I can stop wondering because we're pleased to be joined by Andrew Klavan. Mr. Klavan, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
It's a pleasure to be here. Thanks for having me.
And so the book, again, The Great Good Thing, A Secular Jew Comes to Faith in Christ. Before, I guess, we get to the thesis of your book, what about your journey, as indicated in the subtitle, from secular Jew to faith in Christ?
Yeah, well, the reason I wrote this story is because I felt that I had come so far. That's a very long distance to travel.
Yeah.
I'm a guy who has spent most of his life working in publishing in New York and in movies in Hollywood. I've spent my life surrounded by materialism and secularism, and started out as a non-believing Jew, a non-practicing Jew. And so the fact that I made that journey suggested to me, and I didn't make it in any kind of hysterical, emotional way. There was no kind of flash on the road to Damascus. It was a long course of thinking and reasoning and reading that brought me to that faith. And it just seemed to me that all of us in some way are living in this cloud of disbelief, this cloud of secularism, and it becomes very, very difficult to see through that cloud to the light outside. And I think that I guess I felt that if even I could do it, then maybe other people could do it as well. And I think what you were talking about when you were talking about Carthage, I think it's exactly right. We're living in a world in which the whole narrative, the default setting, is atheism, or at least materialism. The default setting, it's just assumed if you believe there's something wrong with you, you're a fantasist, you're a rube, you're not one of us, you're not one of the elite. And that assumption is wrong. It's just untrue. And so it seemed to me it's worthwhile to speak out about it. It's worthwhile to talk about it.
And you're probably one of the, could be the only conservative who attended University of California, Berkeley. Is that probably correct?
Well, if that doesn't do it to you, I don't know what will.
Right. Talk about a long journey.
I mean, that is.
Yeah, we didn't even include Berkeley in it. Yeah.
Yeah, but when did you realize that you were conservative? Do you feel like were you born and raised a conservative? Were your parents conservative?
Oh, no, not at all. I was raised in a, kind of typical liberal Jewish household where a Republican was one step away from a Nazi, basically. There were the Democrats, good and bad Democrats, but there were only evil Republicans. What happened to me is I moved for many years with my family to England, and I did that for a lot of different reasons. One of them was to get away from political correctness, which was driving me insane. And I moved there, and it was the experience that the astronauts had when they looked from the moon to the Earth. Remember that picture of the Earth as just a planet out there? Suddenly I got a picture of the U.S. from a long way away. My home, I saw my home from a long way away, and my perspective shifted. And I began to realize that the things that were important to me, like freedom, the individual liberty to speak one's mind, the individual liberty to believe what one wants to believe and do what one wants with the money that he earns with the sweat of his brow, all those things were under threat from the left, not the right. They were under threat from my friends, not from my enemies. And at the same time, I had gone through the Reagan era when everybody was telling me this man's an idiot, this guy's a warmonger, this guy's going to destroy the economy, he's going to destroy the world. And everything Reagan said turned out to be true, and everything he did turned out to work. And so it was just a question of observation that made me, and it was only when I returned to America and I suddenly realized that the guys who were saying the things that I believed in were the guys at National Review, Rush Limbaugh, people that were being excoriated by my buddies and my colleagues. Those were the people I believed. And so it was a big.
Oh, no.
Oh, did we lose? The Berkeley Thought Police got to Klavan. We will effort to get Andrew Klavan back, but I just want to go back to something he wrote in this op-ed in the Wall Street Journal, which is a preview of his book. This idea there's no authority to man's moral sense. He writes that everything is about the kind of scientific fact. People say they experienced an adrenaline rush, not that they were excited. Affirmation does not invigorate; it creates a quote-unquote dopamine high. People say they're hardwired for certain behaviors and programmed for others. The underlying message? A human being is a cross between a chemistry set and a computer. His action governed solely by a series of discharges and sparks. There's no authority to man's moral sense. Oh, we've got it. Andrew, are you back with us?
I guess
there we go.
The thought police cut me off.
Exactly. That's exactly what I thought
great
happened.
minds think alike.
Well, I was just referencing this passage from your op-ed about the language we use to describe emotion, adrenaline rush instead of excited, dopamine high instead of an invigorating affirmation, and the suggestion that we're just, as you write, a cross between a chemistry set and a computer. There's no authority to man's moral sense, and where does that lead us?
Well, this is the thing. This is the way a narrative works. People don't understand how powerful the narrative of the age is. It seeps into our language. It seeps into all of our assumptions. I think of things like, for instance, George Washington, a man of great virtue, tremendous moral virtue, who couldn't fully understand the evil of slavery because of the narrative in which he lived. I think of people today who can't fully understand, who are perfectly decent, good people, but can't see the evil of, say, abortion because of the narrative in which we live today. And these narratives fall apart over time, and people look back and think, how did they do that? How did they have abortions at 26 weeks? How did Washington own slaves? They can't understand it. But the cloud of the intellectual cloud we live in controls so much of what we think. And I just believe that there has been a very, very powerful effort in our academies, in Hollywood, in the news industry to push this secular view of a human being as a machine, as a chemistry set, who we act because some kind of secretion happens in our body or some kind of spark goes off in our brain. And if you think about that for just a little bit, it starts to fall apart. We don't really feel excited because of adrenaline. We experience our excitement in this mortal, fleshly world because of adrenaline. But the excitement is there. The excitement is a spiritual thing. And because of the successes of science, the wonderful successes of science, and science is a wonderful thing, but because of those things, it obscures the whole realm of things that science can't touch. And scientists themselves will say this. They'll say, we solve so many problems with our scientific method that we forget that there are other problems to solve. And so when you hear scientific writers like Steven Pinker, who I think is a wonderful writer, I enjoy his stuff, when you hear them start to spout on theological or spiritual issues, you have to remember that this is a guy talking outside of his expertise. This is like listening to Sean Penn talk about politics. Sean Penn is a terrific actor, but he doesn't know anything about politics, and he shouldn't be talking about it. And so I think this narrative, it's very important that we break through this narrative, especially with thinking people, especially with the people who teach our kids and the people who inhabit our universities, the people who make movies, the people who look at us out of our TV sets, because they're the ones who kind of create this narrative. And they've been sold, they themselves have been sold a bill of goods. And again, it simply isn't so. This logic of materialism simply doesn't work. And when you think it out, the minute you think about it really for 10 minutes in a row, you start to realize there's something more, there's something else. And that's the train of thought I think we have to begin to follow.
It's interesting. A few years ago, a colleague of yours, perhaps the greatest American living playwright, David Mamet, and a screenwriter in his own right, wrote a book called The Secret Knowledge. And it's similar in one respect to what you're suggesting here. This is not a rejection of science. It's just the idea that, spoiler alert in Mamet's book, the secret knowledge is nobody has the secret knowledge. And that's essentially kind of what you're saying, just removing the spiritual piece of it for a second. But in terms of the left's failed ideology, that there is this vanguard class of people, these elites, that know how to turn the dials and move the levers better than everybody else, and they should be in charge of everybody else. And we see where that leads, and it seems this is kind of part of the maybe temporal point that you're making.
Yes, because these are people who have a certain kind of information. If you have a dark tunnel and you shine a single beam of light into it, the beam of light will illuminate everything it touches, but everything around it goes into deeper darkness. And that's the way that science works. Science shines a very bright light on the material world. It shows us what things are made of, how they work, how they react against each other. But everything that's not material fades into a deeper darkness. And we have to remember that that's just an effect of the light. That's just a trick, a mental trick that's taking place. And the fact is, after Isaac Newton sort of invented what we think of as science, it made sense for people to think, well, one day everything will be explained in a material, physical way. But the fact is, as science has progressed, things have become much, much more mysterious. And there's much more reason to start to think about the things that science doesn't cover. Scientists themselves are starting to invent theories, like the theory of multiple universes, to cover up the things they can't explain, like how this world is so uniquely tailored to the creation of human intelligence. They can't explain it, so they think, well, there must be a million universes, and this is just the one where people, that works for people. I call that science of the gaps. They used to talk about God of the gaps when people would use God to fill in the things we didn't know. But now science is doing that because they cannot face the fact that a creator spirit, a loving creator spirit, is invested in every aspect of human life and the human experience. And again, when we consult our own common sense, when we consult our own experience, when guys like atheists like Sam Harris or Steven Pinker come along and tell us, you're just a machine, you really have no free will. Consult your own experience. Does that have any kind of connection to the life you live and the way you live it? Of course it doesn't. We all know we make choices. We all know there are consequences to those choices. When somebody says to you there's no such thing as good and evil, and this is what our children are being taught in our universities, when somebody says, there's no such thing as good and evil, it's relative, does that make any real sense to you when you stop and think about it? I always, when I talk to 19, 20-year-olds, they always give me this, well, good and evil is just what we believe, other countries believe other things. I just stop them and just say, okay, let's talk about like a Nazi torturing a living child versus a priest giving a beggar bread. Are we really going to say there's no moral difference there? And of course they're not going to say that. It just doesn't make any sense. And if human life means anything, if it's not just this irrational spinning into nothingness, then things make sense the way we experience them. Something about our experience is real. And I just think that they lose that. They follow a trail of a certain kind of logic into insanity.
Well, speaking about these liberal universities, how do you feel about all of these safe spaces and things that we've done to coddle the young adults?
Well, if you think You know, if you think there's no such thing as reality, and you think there's no such thing as right and wrong, then the only thing there is your precious feeling. And your precious feeling becomes everything, you know, that matters. I went to university as the change was coming, but I still believed in searching for the truth, trying to find the truth. You never get to the truth. You get there by half stages, but you get closer and closer. I believe that you can get closer and closer. Of course you can. But these guys have nothing. They have nothing to believe in, nothing to work toward, no guide, no northern star to guide their life by. So the only thing that's left of importance is the way their feeling state. And if I speak the truth and that truth offends them, then the truth to them is less important than their offense. It makes perfect sense once you take out of it once you take out reality, everything you believe in makes perfect sense. Once you put reality back in, once you put moral truth back in, then they start to look like the silly snowflakes they are.
I wonder if what impact the conversions of accomplished writers like yourself, like David Mamet, do they have any impact in Hollywood or in publishing circles? I mean, because you're a very smart, accomplished guy. Mamet is a very smart, accomplished guy. Every people of all ideological stripes enjoy your work and Mamet's work. Just to use another example, do you get anybody that says in those circles that says, "Boy, you really gave me something to think about," or is it just impenetrable?
You know, I think it does have an effect. What it doesn't have is like a flash effect. It's not like a grenade going off. But the minute David Mamet wrote that piece in the Village Voice many years ago saying that he has changed his opinion, I immediately wrote a piece in the LA Times celebrating that. Because I realized how important it was that a cultural figure of that magnitude had made that change. Of course it makes a difference. And it only makes a difference, of course, if we speak out. It doesn't make any difference if we keep our mouths shut and we think, I won't get this job because if I open my mouth, I'm going to lose this job or not, get these bad reviews. Look, if you ever read the New York Times, though I'm not sure why you would, but if you ever read the New York Times, they will go after. They gave David Mamet's next play after he announced he was a conservative. They gave it 2 bad reviews. They reviewed it twice.
All of a sudden, he can't write anymore.
They are protecting this narrative because it's only under this narrative that the state becomes all important. It's only under this narrative that experts matter. It's like once this narrative falls apart, a whole rationale for the power of the powerful disappears, which was kind of what Jesus was telling us. He was telling us that the little last shall be first if you get it right. And I think that. I think it definitely matters. And by the way, I just want to add that I feel very optimistic about this. I feel that this moral relative perspective is falling apart on its own internal logic. And there are good people in universities, there are good intellectual people who are eventually going to stand up and say, you know what, this isn't making any sense. And once that starts to happen, I think the whole ball will unravel. And I really am looking forward in the next, not too long from now, in a kind of a new American revival among the intellectual classes that I think will trickle down to other people. Because one of the great problems we have is that those people who believe, and by the way, more educated people believe than uneducated people, too many of the people who believe won't preach what they practice. They don't want to say, this is the truth and we should take a look at it because they're afraid of being judgmental or being attacked.
Well, this is why it's so important that people like you speak out and write good books like The Greatest Good Thing, A Secular Jew Comes to Faith in Christ. The author, noted screenwriter and novelist Andrew Klavan. Andrew, thanks so much for joining us. Really a pleasure. Appreciate it.
Thanks a lot. It was a pleasure. Bye-bye.
Thanks. And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
The stories you need to know to start your day. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560, The Answer.
Plenty of sunshine today, but an Arctic blast has set into the area. It's going to be around here for a couple of days. Actually, 4 or 5 days. Sorry. So get used to it. A high today of 18 degrees with a wind chill. It feels like 1. Tonight, a low of 8. And then tomorrow, mostly cloudy, bitterly cold, a high of 15. Let's see if the inbound Kennedy's cleaned up a little bit for people who want to drive home. Here's Jim Telemonte.
Sorry, Amy, it's getting a little heavier now. Your delays start at Pulaski, 40 minutes, so O'Hare to downtown, 30 from Montrose, 26 in the Express. Outbound 29 to the airport. The Eden's 19 minutes. Lake Cook to the junction. The outbound side 22 minutes. The Eisenhower now 55 minutes. Thorndale to downtown. 42 from Manheim. Outbound 39 to Thorndale. Stevenson 46 minutes. 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive. The worst of it is from Ryan to the drive. Outbound it's clear. Ryan 30 minutes. 95 to downtown. Locals much better than the Express. Jim Talamonte in the AM 560 Traffic Center.
No more excuses, gentlemen. It's a new year, and you need to stop putting things off, especially when it comes to taking care of your health. Dan Proft here. I know we all hate going to the doctor. That's why Low T Center makes it quick and easy to get your testosterone levels checked. You walk in, you take a simple blood test, and with the convenience of their on-site lab, you'll know your results in about 20 minutes. So if you're drinking coffee or energy drinks just to get you through the day, or if you feel like you always need a nap, you may have low T. Low T levels can make you feel tired and grumpy, raise your cholesterol, even cause weight gain. That's why I personally recommend going to my friends at Low T Center. They accept most health insurance, are in most health insurance networks, and have flexible hours, including Saturdays. So don't hesitate to find out what your number is this new year. I'm sure glad I did. Call my friends at Low T Center and tell them I sent you. Call 630-409-4305. That's 630-409-4305. Again, Low T Center, 630-409-4305, or visit them online at lowtcenter.com.
Last winter was pretty much a piece of cake, but this winter, we're told, is gonna be a doozy.
Well, the Farmer's Almanac forewarns that bitterly cold, if not downright frigid, numbing cold weather will be predominating over these parts this winter.
Not looking good, but you can be ready. Smart businesses rely on Air Comfort to keep them and their customers warm this expected frigid winter. Air Comfort is one of the largest commercial and industrial service groups in the Chicago area, with dedicated factory-trained technicians that take a scientific approach to analyzing your system. They have comprehensive year-round preventative maintenance programs and emergency service, plus design, build, and install equipment for new construction and retrofits of existing mechanical systems. Now is a great time to call Air Comfort and schedule an analysis of your company's mechanical system by their certified award-winning engineering team. Call 708-345-1900 or visit aircomfort.com. Air Comfort, providing the right climate for business since 1935.
AM 560, The Answer.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Paul Ryan promises to deliver for the American people. We'll talk to Chief Congressional Correspondent for Fox News Channel, Mike Emanuel, about the Congressional GOP's policy agenda at 8:38.
And the new minority leader in the Senate wants Trump to stop tweeting. Yeah, good luck with that. But first, into the newsroom we go. Here's Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, 3 dozen hurt following a train derailment in Brooklyn, New York this morning. New York City fire say 30 were hurt and with injuries. A handful right now are serious. It happened near what is being called the Atlantic Terminal. No word on yet what caused that derailment. President Obama and Vice President-elect Mike Pence holding dueling meetings on Capitol Hill in the latest fight to either scrap Obamacare or save portions of it. A South Carolina judge delaying sentencing until tomorrow for the man who killed 9 congregation members at a historic black church. Sentencing for Dylan Roof expected to begin later today for the day-long competency hearing yesterday. Convicted mass murderer Charles Manson in the hospital for an undisclosed reason. He's 82. He's serving 9 concurrent life sentences for conspiracy to murder 7 in 1969. SpaceX and Boeing now have brand spanking new contracts to send astronauts to the International Space Station. NASA says it's inked several contracts with each of those companies. A Chicago police officer off duty when he fatally shot a man Monday has been relieved of his police powers. Authorities continues looking into a shooting that killed 2 teen boys and wounded a woman on Chicago's west side. And a family of a teen shot and killed by a DuPage County Sheriff's deputy in Villa Park believes that shooting was unjustified. College basketball in the MAC, Miami over Northern Illinois, 69-67. The news is a service of LifeLock. Grabbing coffee or breakfast, if you swipe that card, you leave a trail of digital information. Theft problems? Go to LifeLock.com now. Use promo code RISK to save 10%. 8:34 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Everyone craves the comfort of a good night's sleep. That's why Serta Perfect Sleeper Mattress helps solve 5 common sleep problems. You'll be so comfortable, you'll never count sheep again.
Hey, Craig and Leslie here from In the Know. Leslie and I wanted to take a moment to wish you and your families a Happy New Year.
Aw, Craig, that's so sweet. And it's also true. We truly are grateful when you make the choice to work with us.
We hope you make a resolution to consider Wealth Management Group as your financial partner in 2017.
When making any big decisions concerning your financial future, choose us, Wealth Management Group, and listen to In the Know Sunday mornings at 10, right here on AM 560, The Answer.
Hi, Hugh Hewitt here for ReliefFactor.com. I tell you every single day, and I'm telling you now, ReliefFactor.com has worked for thousands of people. I take it every morning, as does the fetching Mrs. Hewitt. Try ReliefFactor.com. Order the 3-week quick start for only $19.95. It's amazing what it has done for thousands. Watch their testimonials, put down the over-the-counter, pick up the blue and green bag. Go today to ReliefFactor.com. The quick start's only $19.95. ReliefFactor.com. ReliefFactor.com.
On AM 560, The Answer, we talk about the important issues that affect your world. Things like the economy, education, and foreign policy. There's always so much going on in the news that we don't always have the time to focus in and talk about the big ideas behind the important issues. Enter Upstream Ideas online at upstream-ideas.com. Upstream Ideas, in partnership with the Illinois Policy Institute, provides the kind of information that informs the policy discussions happening here on AM 560. At Upstream Ideas, you'll broaden the debate, move beyond partisan assumptions, and challenge accepted beliefs. Upstream Ideas goes against the current and thinks upstream. Go online now at upstream-ideas.com. That's upstream-ideas.com. You'll be armed with new information and fresh perspectives to help encourage you to make the state of Illinois and the United States of America a bit freer, a bit more just, and a bit more civilized. Upstream-ideas.com.
Hey, if you aren't getting a great night's sleep, I suggest you order a MyPillow today and start the year right. MyPillow has a patented interlocking fill that adjusts to your individual sleep needs. It's washable, dryable, manufactured in America, and guaranteed not to go flat for 10 years. The new year is here, so I suggest you resolve to sleep better and feel better. The best offer ever is still available. When you buy one MyPillow, you receive another MyPillow absolutely free, plus 2 Go Anywhere pillows. You're guaranteed to be satisfied. So visit MyPillow.com, click the Radio Listener Special tab, and use the promo code Amy. 2 premium MyPillows and 2 Go Anywhere MyPillows for the price of 1. Again, 2 premium MyPillows and 2 Go Anywhere MyPillows for the price of 1. So start the year off right. Call 800-489-0201, mention the Radio Listener Special, and be sure to use the promo code Amy. That's MyPillow.com or 800-489-0201.
Life should be an adventure, and so should your health. It's another can't-miss Health Quest radio show this Saturday morning. Dr. David Kolbaba.
I'm the host of Chicagoland's longest-running health news and science show. As a primary natural health care practitioner, I've been helping people just like you reach a higher place of health and longevity, utilizing more natural strategies as I believe our Creator meant it to be.
Create your adventure in health. Tune into Health Quest Radio every Saturday morning at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
Raj Shah, host of Secure Retirement Radio, Chicago's safe money specialist.
We are going to manage a portfolio to the extent where every single month, you know and you feel confident that no matter what market it is, that you don't need to play the guessing game and time the market, because it's not timing the market, it's time in the market.
Tune in for Secure Retirement Radio with Raj Shah, Chicago's safe money specialist. Sunday mornings at 7 here on AM 560, The Answer.
It is 8:38. Let's get a check of the roads at our AM 560 Traffic Center with Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. The Tri-State has southbound delays from 21 to 137 after a crash. On the exit to Lake Cook, there's a crash. Northbound heavy from Reagan all the way to North Avenue. Eden's 19 minutes, Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 22. Kennedy, 40 minutes, O'Hare to downtown, outbound 29. The Eisenhower, 55 minutes, Thorndale to downtown, outbound 39 minutes. Stevenson, 46 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. The Ryan runs 28 minutes, 95th to downtown. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. From the AirComfort.com Weather Center. Windy today, clouds and sunshine with a high near 18. It is 15 right now. Winds west at 15. That will give us a wind chill of 11 below. Your next news update is at 9. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Turnkey IT, giving you the freedom to focus on your business while they handle the technical stuff. Turnkey IT.
Listen to podcasts of Joe Walsh and Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on the AM 560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Dan and Amy, now, I know Megyn Kelly was your intern, and Savannah Guthrie was your intern. Mm-hmm. Now, do you take any credit for Mike Emanuel's career at Fox News Channel?
Yeah, no.
No, he was not your intern. You in no way shaped him. You know, in no way birthed him like you did Megyn Kelly, as it were.
No, but I watch him all the time, and I love his work. I'm a big fan.
He is the chief congressional correspondent for Fox News Channel. He is Mike Emanuel, and he joins us now. Mike, thanks for being with us. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. So the new year is off to a rip-roaring start inside the Beltway there with Paul Ryan's re-election as Speaker, to no surprise. The advance of a resolution to repeal Obamacare. But on that second score, the repeal of Obamacare, how do you see that transpiring with it kind of being up in the air what the replace for Obamacare is going to look like?
Great question, and let me see if I can paint a picture a bit for your audience, which is I'm standing in a hallway just outside the House Republican Conference where Vice President-elect Mike Pence is inside basically rallying the troops, talking about repealing Obamacare, and we understand they're going to talk a little bit about replacement as well. Replacement, obviously, as you mentioned, is the trickier thing. Republicans have a variety of ideas of how they want to do it. We've been led to believe that Democrats are not going to be particularly cooperative in helping them come up with a replacement. So Republicans really need to come together, be unified, and on a single plan at some point, and work to make that happen. Easier said than done, but the immediate thing is a lot of these Republicans ran on repealing Obamacare, which they're working on doing in short order sometime probably in the next week or so.
Well, why is President Obama, he's meeting with top Senate leaders and House members to try and save Obamacare? It's seems like a fruitful effort, don't you think?
Well, exactly, Amy, absolutely. And he is up here at the very same time. So Capitol Hill is crawling with Secret Service and police officers here to protect these two big VIPs. President Obama speaking to all the Democrats on the Hill, basically trying to rally them to try to stand up for Obamacare and other legacy items like environmental regulations and Dodd-Frank Wall Street reform, that sort of stuff. Trying to rescue his legacy with the Trump presidency on the horizon, with Republicans leading the House and Senate. And so, they're working their respective constituencies here in Congress, one trying to fire up the base to repeal in a hurry, and the other one trying to hold on to his signature health care law.
Is there any idea yet what the sequencing of these various policy initiatives is going to be? Obamacare seems first out of the gate, but on tax reform or a Supreme Court nominee or immigration policy, is there any sense of where the Congressional Republican caucuses are on sequencing?
That's a great question. And we know that Vice President-elect Pence, who's going to be the liaison between the White House and Congress after serving 12 years in the House of Representatives, he's having a variety of meetings up here on Capitol Hill today. He's scheduled to attend the Senate Republican luncheon, and so I'm sure he will put on the table some of his ideas, what the president-elect would like to do in terms of sequencing, and hear from his partners here on Capitol Hill, Paul Ryan, the Speaker, and Mitch McConnell, the Majority Leader, about how they think they can do it. Obviously, the Senate's going to be tied up in the next few weeks for sure about trying to confirm President-elect Trump's cabinet nominees or cabinet-level people. Democrats are threatening to slow walk that a little bit to try to draw it out a bit, but Republicans keep reminding the Democrats of when President Obama was gathering his team, creating his team in 2009, that 7 people were confirmed on January 20th, the day that he was sworn into office, and 5 that first week after that. So they're hoping to force Democrats to give him his team so the new president can hit the ground running.
Speaking of his team and, the reports about, anywhere between 4 to 8 nominees being targeted for at least being held up, if not defeated, by the Democrats, from Tillerson at State to DeVos at Education to Pruitt at EPA. Do you have any sense of, is the number really that big, or are there one or two where the Democrats are really going to try and make a stand and maybe even be able to enlist some Republican opposition?
My sense is, great question. My sense is that it's a negotiating position, that Chuck Schumer's a deal maker, and so he threw out 8 names of the list of people the president-elect is nominating and said, all right, well, these are 8 possibly that we could target to slow down or try to stop. And so he's hoping that Mitch McConnell will counter with some offer about, how much time they'll allow to, basically grill these people. After Harry Reid blew up the Senate rules a few years back in 2013, Republicans are saying we don't really need Democrats to help us get these people confirmed. We can, make them stay here all night and do votes at odd hours if they want to stretch this out, or they can make this a lot more pleasant. So my sense is maybe they'll go after a couple of these nominees, but they threw 8 out there to probably make Republicans a little bit anxious and probably to get the attention of the president-elect and his team.
All right, so the 115th Congress got off to a pretty rocky start. There was a Republican reversal. I mean, why did they scrap a plan to undermine the ethics watchdog that oversees them? And what was it Donald Trump's tweet that made them change their mind, or were their phones being filled, or phone messages being filled from their constituents?
My sense is it was both. I think phones were ringing off the hook because the headlines were that basically House Republicans were trying to scrap ethics oversight. What I've been told by a variety of people is that there's bipartisan concern about this outside ethics panel. What the mistake was essentially doing this as a first act of the new Congress, and doing it in a partisan fashion, having only Republicans on it. I've been told that there are many, many Democrats who have concerns about this panel. For example, it went after Maxine Waters a few years back, the Democratic congresswoman from the L.A. area, California, and it was a 3-year investigation, cost $1 million in legal fees for the taxpayers, and then she was exonerated by the internal House Ethics Panel. And so I think there's some concern that, any person outside can register a complaint against a member of Congress, and it can cost you hundreds of thousands of dollars in legal fees. And so the thought is that if they reform it, it should be bipartisan. Paul Ryan, the Speaker, and the Majority Leader Kevin McCarthy were against this move happening at this time, but everybody I talked to said they have at least some concerns with this panel. But by doing it at this point, they gave Nancy Pelosi a weapon to go after Republicans starting out this new Congress.
Going back to Trump's team, and wondering if you heard any grumblings on the Hill from the Republican side about any of the nominees, including perhaps the most recent nominee, Robert Lighthizer, to be the U.S. Trade Representative, which may be a role that takes on pronounced importance in a Trump administration. And Robert Lighthizer, no free trader by any stretch of the imagination. Obviously, one would argue that Trump is not either. But do you sense that Republicans are leery about any of Trump's nominees, starting with Lighthizer?
Great question. We've heard some grumblings about Rex Tillerson, some concern about his relationship with Vladimir Putin, the Russian president. We know that at least a few of the Senate Republicans, from Marco Rubio to John McCain to Lindsey Graham, have questions for him about that. We understand that he's actually going to be here on Capitol Hill as well today doing some meet and greets with some of the senators. So one would expect that behind closed doors, he would be able to tell these lawmakers that, look, I had a role as CEO of Exxon, and my role was to do good business deals in places like Russia. And so it was my job to have a working relationship with Vladimir Putin. But, one would expect that he would say that he can represent the American people in his job as the top diplomat once he gets here to Capitol Hill. And so it'll be interesting to see if he can calm some of those initial concerns about him. I have not heard a whole lot because yesterday was basically family day here on Capitol Hill, a lot of, meet and greets and photos and receptions and that sort of thing. But I think as they're getting back to work, we may hear some other concerns about some of the other nominees in the days ahead.
All right. He is Mike Emanuel, Chief Congressional Correspondent, Senior Political Correspondent for Fox News. Mike, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me. Have a beautiful day.
You too.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
Connect with Dan and Amy using the AM560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Are we doing the dab next? We're all going to do the dab, what it means, and let's see Dan do the dab. New hashtag. No, oh, that was so... You did it wrong. But first, here's your forecast. Windy, but plenty of sunshine today and plenty of Arctic kind of cold weather. A great day to book your trip to come with Dan, myself, Joe Walsh to Punta Cana. Today, a high of 18. It's 10 degrees right now. You factor in the wind chill, it's 0. That's good times. Bring your sunscreen. And then tomorrow, mostly cloudy, bitterly cold again, a high of 15 degrees. Let's get the travel times. Here's Jim Delamonte.
Thanks, Amy. Your inbound Kennedy has delays starting at Irving Park. It's now 45 minutes from O'Hare to downtown, 35 from Montrose, 32 in the Express, and the Ohio Feeder's backed up. Outbound a lot better, just a 4-minute delay central to Sayre. Edens is 19 minutes, Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 21. The Eisenhower, 57 minutes, Thorndale to the post office, 44 from Manheim, outbound 31 to Thorndale. Stevenson, 47 minutes, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive. The worst of that is from the Ryan to Lakeshore Drive in terms of delays. Outbound all clear. The Ryan, 27 minutes, 95th to downtown. Southbound Lakeshore Drive, slow Irving Park to North Avenue. Southbound Tri-State, it's bottled up, 21 to 137 after a crash. Southbound Veterans Memorial, slow St. Charles to Roosevelt. And there's a crash on the right shoulder. I'm Jim Talamonte in the AM 560 Traffic Center.
Hey, it's cold outside, and a great way to start 2017 is to book your trip to somewhere warm and sunny, somewhere like Punta Cana in the Dominican Republic. That's where we're heading this year. We'll be staying at the Secrets Cap Cana Resort and Spa, adults only, unlimited luxury resort that just opened in November. 5 gourmet restaurants, 7 bars, unlimited premium drinks, and 24-hour room service. The resort has sparkling pools and is located on a beautiful beach. So join us in Punta Cana.
Hola!
And get more information. I just love that. And get more information and book your trip by visiting 560theanswer.com. Keyword passport. That's 560theanswer.com. Keyword passport. Join Dan Proft, Joe Walsh, Amy Jacobson. The trip is filling up fast, so don't wait. The price that Apple Vacation has secured for this trip is incredible and exclusive to us, but it will expire soon, so don't miss out. Visit 560theanswer.com, keyword passport.
Do you trust big tech companies with your private information? Do you trust the NSA and other government agencies when it comes to your emails? There is a company that values your privacy. They created a service that keeps your personal information and your emails as private as possible. Get your very own private email address at ReaganPrivacy.com. Big tech companies scan your emails to target you with unwanted advertising. ReaganPrivacy.com does not do that. They leave you alone. And you spread the legacy of Ronald Reagan with every email you send. Get a Reagan email address at ReaganPrivacy.com. And right now they'll give you 2 free bonus months, 14 months for the price of 12. Prices start at just $33 a year. Isn't your privacy worth 9 cents a day? Actually, it's worth a lot more than that. That's why this is such an amazing offer. Get your very own private Reagan email address and get 2 free bonus months at ReaganPrivacy.com. Please do this right now. Don't wait another day. Go get your Reagan email address right now at ReaganPrivacy.com. That's ReaganPrivacy.com.
Hi, this is Dr. David Kolbaba. So you get yourself one of those blood tests with all the poking and prodding. They're always looking for some kind of bad news. Most blood tests these days are very lacking, only screening you for the big, bad, and ugly diseases, with you never really getting the good news, or even knowing what to do with the not-so-good news. So let me tell you about our dirt-cheap comprehensive blood test. First of all, we'll be testing a wide variety of different health factors and not just the ugly few. And then we're going to sit down with you and strategize with all that we learned from your blood test findings. And I promise that you're going to know more about what you can do to help improve your health using a more natural, common sense approach. And for over 33 years, we've been very successful at setting people free from their toxic medications. It's our dirt cheap comprehensive blood test. Call 800-794-1855. You can't get any cheaper than dirt cheap. That's 800-794-1855. Be sure to tune in to Health Quest Radio with me, Dr. David Kolbaba, this Saturday morning at 11.
Lately, it seems you're not feeling quite right. As if your body is working against you, Dr. Amy and Associates can help create a path to achieve optimal health. Experience personalized health care for your mind, body, and spirit at a practice that blends holistic and traditional medicine.
Hi, I'm Dr. Amy Harris-Nuon of Dr. Amy and Associates. As an integrative health and wellness center, we take a team approach to your health care, so we welcome the opportunity to work collaboratively with your current health care provider. We're different from today's typical standard of care because our focus is on understanding the root cause of your health problem, not just treating the symptoms. It's a personalized approach that explores a wide range of proven treatments and one that's focused on helping you achieve your health and wellness goals so you can achieve a full, happy, and satisfying life.
Call Dr. Amy and Associates to experience a whole-person integrative approach to health and wellness. 630-980-1400 or visit DrAmyAndAssociates.com. Dr. Amy and Associates, empowering people, changing lives.
I'm worried that my employees are costing me a fortune every month in damaged or missing inventory. I'm not sure how to solve this problem or who to turn to.
Alarm Detection Systems installs video cameras that watch over your place of business, reduce loss, and increase profits with advanced security. ADS is an authorized Honeywell equipment dealer. Visit adsalarm.com or call 630-844-6300. Alarm license number 127000143.
I can't get the alarm company on the phone to save my life. My alarm's going off all the time, and I don't know why. It's driving me crazy.
Call Alarm Detection Systems. We have live reps answering our phones 24/7, 365. No auto attendant. Call 630-844-6300. Get better customer service in return. Alarm Detection Systems is an authorized Honeywell equipment dealer. Visit adsalarm.com. Alarm license number 127000143.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
Oh my goodness, I am so grateful for it. And my 85-year-old mother, even more so.
I love the product so far. It's been a little over a month now. And I feel great. It's incredible.
It's working good. It's amazing, Glue. I'm able to do more and I feel better. I like it.
Dr. Howard has put together an all-new health challenge that will absolutely allow you to find out for yourself what Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies will do for you. The new challenge will allow you to receive 2 months of free product. Yes, 2 months of free Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies. Call now for details. And who knows, you may be hearing your own success story on the radio. Call 1-800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code Chicago.
It's definitely a good product, no question about it. I love it.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
I'm Gina Labus, President and CEO of Mid-States Glass and Metal and a customer of Signature Bank since 2011. As we expanded our business into all aspects of the glass and metal industry, we needed a bank who could grow along with us. That's when we met Mick O'Rourke, co-founder of Signature Bank. Mick and his team took the time to understand the ebbs and flows of our business. They worked with us to find a solution that would support our growth. Mid-States Glass and Metal is proud to work with Signature Bank because they support Chicagoland women-owned businesses like mine.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. Learn more about turning your business vision into reality. Visit signature-bank.com. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Hi, I'm Mary Beth. I had a failed root canal and it was causing me pain. Dr. Neruzzi took care of my tooth and I got my implant, and then I had another after that fail, and he did that one as well. And the experience was, they were amazing. It was not painful at all like I thought it was going to be, and I was very, very, very nervous about the whole thing. Nobody enjoys getting, implants or dental work. And I procrastinated, but I had to have it done. And he took me in immediately and took care of it. And he made it really affordable. They're very accommodating to people that cannot afford to have it done. I would recommend Dr. Neruzzi to anybody, and I have given him referrals. My own sister had hers done by him.
This is Dr. Neruzzi. I personally guarantee your happiness with your implants. Go to implantsforme.com.
For missing teeth, dental implants are wonderful. The advantages are fantastic. Just remember, implantsforme.com. Implantsforme.com.
Thanks so much for making us part of your morning.
You're dominated.
Never got to that story. That's the new catchphrase on Celebrity Apprentice.
So lame.
It's a pretty bad show. Thanks to David Stripling, our technical director, and Keith Conrad, our executive producer. We're back here tomorrow morning, 5 a.m. Now into the newsroom we go. Once again, we say hello to the one and only Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, colder air returning to Chicagoland. How cold? We'll tell you. Chicago alderman wants to run for governor. A top-ranking Chicago police deputy headed to become police chief of the Oakland, California department. Bulls clashing with the Cavaliers, and a windy day with clouds and sunshine mixed. WIND Chicago News Time, 9 o'clock.